of incidents as well as controlled substance violations. A motive has not yet been determined.
Officials say a group of bystanders held the suspect in the parking lot until police arrived. Another big oops at a prison in New Orleans where 10 inmates escaped in May. Parish Sheriff Susan Houston says they're now searching for an inmate who was released because of a clerical error.
I want to make a sincere apology to the people of New Orleans. The mistaken release of Khalil Bryant was a serious error, and as sheriff, I take full responsibility.
She says his last name is similar to another inmate's. Ichiro Suzuki is the first Japanese-born player to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And he brought his sense of humor with him to Cooperstown.
3,000 hits, 10 gold gloves, 10 seasons of 200 hits. Not bad, huh?
He was just one vote shy of being a unanimous selection. Dow Futures up 48. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit progressive.com today.
It is 6:03 right now in downtown St. Louis. We've got some clouds and 78 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. In the news this morning on Total Information AM, more than 3,200 union workers at 3 Boeing plants in St. Louis are poised to strike after overwhelmingly rejecting a proposed contract.
The International Machinists and Aerospace Workers Union announced the vote against the offer, which included a 20% wage increase over 4 years, improved medical, pension, and overtime benefits. Despite union leaders recommending approval, members felt the offer fell short of addressing their priorities. While the existing contract expired Sunday, a cooling-off period delays the strike until August 4th. Boeing is expressing disappointment, calling it their richest contract offer ever for the St. Louis Union. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
The recovery effort for Ellsbury, Missouri residents flooded out of their homes overnight Saturday starts today.
The towns that were evacuated were Oneida and Ellsbury.
The Red Cross's Sharon Watson tells KMOX residents were asked to bring things with them if they were able to after being evacuated. Lincoln County Emergency Management says displaced residents are being supported at the United Methodist Church in Ellsbury. Officials are asking residents to remain cautious, avoid flooded areas, and heed all safety directives from local authorities. Damage assessment will start today. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The Major K Squad is asking for the public's help following the shooting death of a 16-year-old boy from East St. Louis Saturday afternoon. The squad was activated after the Madison Police Department found a teenager in the middle of the intersection at Washington Avenue and Wayne Lanter Avenue. 12 detectives are working the case and pursuing at least 48 good leads.
It's going to cost us in terms of finding cures and dealing with some of the most terrible diseases that we're facing.
U.S. Senator Dick Durbin talking about cuts to Medicaid and research in the medical community that stands to lose funding because of President Trump's reconciliation bill, which he's already signed into law. Durbin points to something else that hasn't been talked about much.
Put a cap on the loans that medical students can take out is going to reduce the number of new doctors in our country just at a time when we need the opposite.
Durbin visited Southern Illinois University Springfield Medical School.
Senator Josh Hawley talked with Axios and says if you look at how these AI companies are behaving, it's basically a smash and grab mentality.
Where they're going in and they're grabbing everything that they can get their hands on, all of the creative material, all of the name, image, and likeness material, all of the personal data, and they're not asking anybody. They're not compensating anybody. They're not even trying. They're just taking.
Hawley says there's something wrong with that, and if we continue down that road, there's going to be a major reckoning, and that's before we get to the mass displacement of jobs.
A Missouri congressman co-sponsoring a bill that would reorganize FEMA.
The bill's been introduced in the U.S. House by Representative Sam Graves, a Republican in the 6th District. The measure would restore the agency to cabinet-level status, and its director would report directly to the president. MissouriNet says the bill would also reduce the amount of paperwork disaster victims are required to fill out, and it would ban FEMA money from being spent on housing for illegal immigrants or on other non-disaster events. In addition, the bill would make it illegal to discriminate against disaster victims based on politics. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
Arch Grants gives out non-investment cash to promising startups. Many of them move here from outside the area. But one of the homegrowns, Real Document Solutions, is in the business of clearing the clutter from your inbox. You might even need fewer bookmarks in your browser once their software is installed. It streamlines the sharing and analyzing of legal and public documents, saving time for people from title insurance professionals to paralegals. Michael Calhoun asked founder Denise Williams about the newest Vanguard.
So I'm curious how AI factors into what you're doing.
We do have some elements of AI, and we're kind of early on our journey. We do have a roadmap to expand that. AI is great, and I say to most people, you've got to start small with those use cases. So those scenarios in your daily workflow where you're doing very low value work or very administrative tasks. So that's where we're focused right now, is to remove a lot of that low value work so we can repurpose our energies for something that's more important.
What's it like doing a B2B tech startup in St. Louis? Michael asked Williams in the 8 o'clock hour of Total Information AM.
Fairmount Park Casino and Racing canceling racing this Tuesday. Park officials say safety and the well-being of the horses, riders, and guests is a top priority. With temperatures expecting to soar, they say this is the most responsible choice.
We'll check that forecast after traffic in 2 minutes at 6:08.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's get you caught up on traffic and weather. It is 6:10. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're doing great out there, Debbie. We've had a couple of stalls. Southbound 170, they just cleared one. Delmar, they have one 270 at Doherty Ferry. They get them out of the roadway quickly, so there's no delays. No delays on the interstates right now. Overnight road work got picked up. They'll have overnight road work out there tonight. And tomorrow night in North County, they're going to have Kershaw Road closed between Hanley and Hazelwood during the overnight hours. I think it's 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. each night. And every weeknight this week, the schedule will have restrictions like they did Friday night. South 270 approaching 64 ramp restrictions, and they're going to be shifting lanes all this week. So just be prepared for that if you do drive during the later evening or overnight hours in either of those areas. Good news, I don't think I mentioned it yet, but hopefully you experienced it over the weekend. They reopened Lindbergh Boulevard between the Conway North and Conway South north of 64. That happened Saturday evening. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather and extreme heat warning remains in effect through 7 p.m. Wednesday. Mostly sunny today, very hot and humid, the high 97. With AccuWeather real field temperatures over 110 this afternoon. Tonight, mainly clear, uncomfortably warm and sticky, low just 79. Sunshine and some clouds tomorrow. Another very hot, humid day with a high of 99 and real feels again over 110. It'll still be hot and humid on Wednesday with clouds and sun. Also a thunderstorm at the afternoon, the high 92. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we have a mostly clear sky. It's warm out there, 90% humidity, and it is 78 degrees. Weather is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
It is 6:12 and the news continues, and KMOX continues following developments with Tanya Haddix, the woman accused of confining and hiding Tonka the chimpanzee from PETA in her Missouri home. Last weekend, Haddix was arrested by U.S. Marshals in Camden County after a Missouri state court judge found that 4 companies affiliated with the wild animal broker and her husband in contempt of court for ignoring orders to hand over financial records and other documents to PETA.
Haddix was released from custody last Saturday. Now we've learned Haddix was hiding another chimp in the same confined area as Tonka. Her bond has been revoked, and she will remain in custody until her sentencing August 7th.
Mosquito samples in St. Louis County have tested positive for West Nile virus. There are no confirmed human cases at this time, but people are being urged to protect themselves. Dispose of standing water every week to prevent breeding. Wear long sleeves and long pants outdoors. Use EPA-registered bug repellent and repair any gaps or holes in your windows, doors, and screens.
Attorney General Andrew Bailey weighs in on Sonia Jenkins Gray initially accepting a role with the St. Louis City Sheriff's Department.
Before her resignation, Bailey told KMOX he believes Jenkins Gray exercised poor judgment accepting the role.
To accept a position with a sheriff who has clearly broken the law and is still defiant in his opposition.
Bailey filed a quo warranto against Montgomery, aiming to remove him from office. Bailey accuses the sheriff of financial mismanagement and exceeding his authority as sheriff when detaining the deputy commissioner of the jail, amongst other accusations. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The extreme heat is giving aging water mains extra stress. Several broke last week in St. Louis County, 2 in Webster Groves, 1 in Afton, another in Concord. Webster Groves resident Lindy Carroll telling Fox 2 what he witnessed.
I saw water shooting out from the street like a geyser, and all around me I could hear rocks hitting buildings, the street, cars, windows, and things like that.
Missouri American Water says high summer water usage leads to water main breaks during very hot periods.
The St. Louis Slam back-to-back champions. The professional women's football team beat the DC Divas in Canton, Ohio over the weekend, 26-14, to finish an undefeated season. Their second Women's Football Alliance championship in a row and their 6th overall title. The Slam down 14-6 at the half before turning it around. The game's MVP, the running back Jada Humphrey, rushed for more than 130 yards and scored a touchdown. It's 6:15. Cards got walloped by the Padres at Busch Stadium. Final score was 9-2. Michael McGreevy gave up 7 runs, a big bump in the road for his early portion of his career. He replaced Eric Fetty in the rotation. Fetty was designated for assignment last week and was traded yesterday to the Atlanta Braves for cash considerations or a player to be named. The trade deadline is 3 days away, and I talked it over with President of Baseball Operations, John Mozeliak. I get asked this a lot, so I'll have you answer it so that I can get it right and answer people. They want to know how involved Chaim Bloom is at the deadline. I know that you're the president of baseball operations. Can you describe the collaboration with Chaim when it comes to this?
Yeah, I would just say he's part of the team. The way we have it set up is everybody has a voice in what we do, and he's one of those voices. And, there are some things where if it was dramatically a very black and white issue that's going to affect the future, obviously I would loop him in to a different level than just the voice. But at this point, the collaboration of the group is pretty equally divided. And, it's my responsibility just to manage it.
Bloom takes over for Mozeliak on November 1st as the two continue the transition of president of baseball operations Mozeliak in the final year of his contract. Bloom, the former head of operations for the Boston Red Sox, and before that, the general manager of the Tampa Bay Rays. Bubba Wallace has won the Brickyard 400, and it's a significant victory for Wallace, as he is the first black driver to win a major race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway's Oval. He's also won for the third time in his NASCAR Cup career, but it's the first win at one of the Series 4 Crown Jewel races. It also puts him in a playoff spot, which the playoffs will be coming to St. Louis this year, September 7th at Worldwide Technology Raceway, the Enjoy Illinois 300. Bubba Wallace, 31 years old, overcame an 18-minute rain delay, overcame almost running out of fuel, and overcame one of the best drivers in the world, Kyle Larson, who was chasing him down. But Wallace wins it. He becomes the first black driver to win a major race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway's 2.5-mile oval. No black driver has won the Indianapolis 500. Wallace's first victory in the Series 4 Crown Jewel events. The others are the Daytona 500, the Coca-Cola 600, and the Southern 500. Mizzou opens training camp. So does Illinois. Eli Drinkowitz yesterday said it's a quarterback race between Sam Horn and Bo Pribula, but he mentioned a freshman who is making a run, perhaps out of the state of Pennsylvania. We'll tell you about him coming up at 6:45. I'm Tom Ackerman on the Voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
This Simon Cancer Center spotlight how innovative immunotherapy is showing promise against aggressive T-cell cancers. Dr. John DePercio.
Patients have come here from all over the United States and, in fact, all over the world to get evaluated and treated for this treatment. We hope that this can be continued, that we demonstrate in a clinical trial that it's safe and effective, and that ultimately it will be approved by the FDA so it's available to everyone in the world.
For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Calling all soccer fans, the Premier League is coming to STL. St. Louis City SC will host English Premier League giants Aston Villa Football Club Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. Wednesday, July 30th at 7:30 p.m. That's stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
Hi, St. Louis. This is EJ Turner, one of the 6 certified arborists with Timberline Professional Tree Care. Spring and summer in the St. Louis area can mean severe weather and storm cleanup for homeowners. Fallen branches or entire trees are not only unsightly, but they can be extremely dangerous. Each year, hundreds, if not thousands of homeowners are injured or even killed while trying to trim, remove, or clean up trees that have fallen. These injuries are often the result of falls from ladders or roofs, cuts from the chainsaws, or the tree itself striking the homeowner. We've all seen the YouTube videos. Don't let yourself or loved one become the next victim. At Timberline, we all have the knowledge and equipment to safely and efficiently remove that tree or tree branch from your home, structure, or yard. Go ahead and save our 24-hour number to your phone. It's 636-479-7475. Again, 636-479-7475, or visit our website at stltreecare.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:20. This is Total Information AM. Thanks for joining us on this hot Monday, July 28th. We'll get you updated on the forecast. Yes, we have some more steamy weather in store, but a break is on the way. That's something to look forward to. Here's Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're doing great out there right now. It's an easygoing Monday morning so far, Debbie. This traffic reports of service, Jerry Kelly, heating and air conditioning and electrical. If you're headed out onto the area highways 55 coming through McNutt in the construction zone or the Bayless, looks good. It's a little busy, 67 at Double C. If you're on eastbound 30 coming up the hill to Mauer, a little bit of volume going up the hill there, just a bit of a slowdown, not bad yet. I'm seeing a good run coming in from out west, southbound 61, eastbound 64 and 70 from that point across the Missouri River bridges. You're good to go. 270 at Ladue still looks good. They reopened Lindbergh at Deer Creek. They rebuilt that bridge over the last couple of months. So Lindbergh's been reopened there between Conway North and Conway South on the north side of 64. I did that Saturday evening around 5 p.m. So that'll help you out on the morning and evening drives from here on out. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company at St. Louis Traffic Center.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Jerry Kelly, man, JerryKelly.com. Give him a call, even though it's late, JerryKelly.com.
The weather forecast from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg: an extreme heat warning remains in effect through 7 p.m. Wednesday. Mostly sunny, hot and humid, a high of 97. It's going to feel like 110. Clear, uncomfortably warm and humid tonight, low 79. Tomorrow, same thing, hot and humid, high 99. Real feels again over 110. Currently, it's mostly clear, 78 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:22. 11 people injured in a knife attack Sunday at a Walmart in Traverse City, Michigan. The suspect lived about 90 miles from where it happened. We get more from reporter Julie Walker.
11 people were stabbed Saturday at a Walmart in Traverse City, Michigan. Shoppers, including one with a gun, subdued the suspect. Sheriff Michael Shea says 42-year-old Bradford James Gill was taken into custody.
Requested charges will be as follows: 1 count of terrorism, 11 counts of assault with intent to murder. Mr. Gilley's history shows prior assaultive incidents as well as controlled substance violations. A motive has not yet been determined.
Prosecutor Noel Mogenberg explains that terrorism charge.
We believe in some ways done to affect the entire community, to put fear in the entire community and to change how maybe we operate on a daily basis. And so that is why we're looking at that terrorism charge.
Officials say 10 patients remain in the hospital, 2 in serious condition. I'm Julie Walker.
President Trump took a private trip to Scotland over the weekend.
An official state visit will come later this year. This was a 4-day stay in Scotland that saw the president play golf at his Turnberry golf course. He also met with Scottish leaders and was able to finalize a deal with the EU that brings 15% tariffs.
The deals all start on August 1st. Most of the deals, other than steel and aluminum, which we've been getting 50% tariffs from, I guess, just about everybody. And those have come in, and we've taken in, hundreds of billions of dollars.
It wasn't just presidential business, though, in Scotland for Trump. He opened a second golf course in Aberdeenshire. The president credited late James Bond star Sean Connery, saying if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have the 2 courses. I'm Clayton Neville.
The FAA is investigating a possible landing gear incident at Denver Airport that forced passengers to use the inflatable slides to exit the airplane on the runway.
Authorities say several passengers slid down an emergency slide of a smoking jet at Denver International Airport. The Federal Aviation Administration says American Airlines Flight 3023 reported the incident during its departure from Denver Saturday afternoon. The Boeing 737 MAX 8 was headed to Miami. One passenger tells KUSA-TV there was a big bang as the jet was increasing speed on the runway to take off, causing the pilot to hit the brakes. Airport officials say one passenger was injured and taken to a medical facility for treatment. I'm Mike Hempen.
An insurance company is hacked, affecting many of its customers.
Hackers gained access to personal data on the majority of the 1.4 million customers of Allianz Life Insurance Company of North America. The company is saying it happened on July 16th when a malicious threat actor gained access to a third-party cloud-based system used by the company. It says the incident involves only Allianz Life in the U.S., not other Allianz corporate entities. In the case of data breaches, a so-called social engineering technique usually involves using trickery to gain access. Matt Piper, CBS News.
This weekend, workers were on strike at Boston's Fenway Park. CBS News' Samantha Cheney has more.
What do we want? For the second day in a row, striking workers picketed outside of Fenway Park, calling on fans to boycott concession stands. Don't support the food inside right now. We fully agree with it. The union demanding that the food supplier Aramark pay better wages and stop replacing employees with self-checkout machines.
There's no way with an ownership group like the Red Sox that have so much money that we should have people making poverty wages.
A statement from Aramark said, "We have bargained in good faith and are disappointed the union rejected our latest offer."
A 60s rock guitarist has died.
Rick Derringer shot to fame at the age of 17 when he and his band, the McCoys, recorded Sloopy. It reached the Billboard Hot 100 in 1965. Then in 1973, he released his debut album, All American Boy, that featured another hit single. Derringer produced albums for other artists as well, including Steely Dan, Bonnie Tyler, Weird Al Yankovic, and Cyndi Lauper. He was 77. No cause of death given. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
I'm Sean Malone. If Republicans redistrict Missouri to try to pick up another seat, could that plan backfire? I think. Coming up, I posed that question to Congressman Onder.
That is coming up in the news at the bottom of the hour. Right now it's 6:27, and the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
With the heat we have here in St. Louis, just a note, most air conditioners aren't set or able to handle 100 degrees without running constantly. So before you freak out and think your air conditioner is bad, here's a few tips. If you don't have ceiling fans in your bedrooms, you can get pedestal fans and put them in your room. Keep those running all the time. On a second-story house, put one pedestal fan on top of your steps and blow it into the foyer area up high so it's cooling the heat as it's coming up and circulating the air. If you have an attic fan, simple, quick fix, plastic bag, cut it up, and duct tape, because what's happening is it's sucking in all your attic air and the heat and humidity from the outside. Try those things before you call anybody or you call me. But if you did that, please call me, Bart Inman, 314-293-2600. Remember, 0% financing is available for most up to 60 months. God bless.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
We know you're uncertain about psychics. Is this fortune teller you found on a forum legit?
Your one true love is...
me! That's why California Psychics reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Get insights on the go. Download the California Psychics app today.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
It is 6:30, and right now we've got partly cloudy skies, 78 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's see how the roads are. Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're looking good right now, Tom. Pretty easy going. A few folks are hitting the road, so there's a little more volume out there, but all in all, it's not bad. I mean, I'm seeing a little bit of a slowdown in the right lanes north of Butler Hill. Loughborough, Virginia area looks a little busy on northbound 55. North 270, north of 44, headed through Marshall Road toward Big Bend. Again, that looks a little slow, but nothing's jammed, obviously. Southbound 61, eastbound 70, 64 from out Wentzville way looks good. I mentioned earlier, Lindbergh was reopened Saturday evening. But north of 64 there between Conway North and Conway South, so that's available for your morning commute. And I was just looking, and they wrapped up that road work on westbound 5570 between 159 and 157. I finally found that email from IDOT. They wrapped it up about almost 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, so that's open. So that detour was a lengthy one, of course, 270 to 255. So that's another improvement for your driving this morning as well. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Our extreme heat remains in effect through 7 o'clock Wednesday night. So today, 97, tomorrow, 99. It's going to feel both days like it's over 110 degrees. We could see tomorrow, let's see. I guess today and tomorrow, we're not really looking at storms popping up. It's Wednesday when we could see a strong thunderstorm. The good news there is it'll push the hot temperatures out for Thursday and Friday. It's 78 out there right now.
Could Missouri redistrict to pick up an additional Republican seat?
After talks of Texas, California, and New York redistricting to help both sides of the aisle pick up seats, Missouri has been floated as the next state to be redrawn. Congressman Bob Onder says President Donald Trump's margin of victory in Missouri last year is why Missouri should rewrite the map.
I think there's no reason Republicans shouldn't draw a map that reflects that very strong conservative tilt.
Onder previously supported redistricting in 2022 as a member of the Missouri Senate with the goal of splitting Kansas City Congressman Emanuel Cleaver's district. Asked if redistricting should be altered to become less political, Onder pushed back, saying it has always been this way. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Severe flash flooding struck several counties in Missouri and Illinois overnight Saturday into Sunday. No injuries or deaths reported, but several dozen people had to be rescued from rising water, some in their vehicles. Jersey and Calhoun counties in Illinois near Grafton saw significant flash flooding and road closures. Some areas registered 9 or 10 inches of rain.
No sign yet of a destructive moth-like pest in Missouri that's been spotted in Illinois. The spotted lanternfly has been detected near Chicago. University of Missouri entomologist Emily Altoff tells Missouri Net it makes a sugary substance that coats plants, resulting in mold.
It stresses the plants out. This is especially an issue for our grapes or our saplings because they need to be able to overwinter, and it can cause issues for that.
She says not much is known about the multicolored spotted lanternfly, which is known to hitch a ride on metal objects such as shipping containers.
St. Louis's own Bissinger's Handcrafted Chocolatier reportedly expanding to Florida with plans to open its first luxury boutique in Palm Beach. Set to debut in September 2025, the new store will offer an elevated experience for customers. Bissinger's currently operates 3 locations in the St. Louis area.
Oh, yeah? I didn't realize that. How about that? The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your money report next.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res. It's National Carpet Cleaning Month, and because of Zero Res's commitment to the DGS, you're going to get 3 rooms of carpeting clean plus 1 free plus $50 off your air duct services. 314-474-2020, ZeroResSTL.com.
Now, 90 and 60. A look back at the latest St. Louis City SC match. Presented by Woods Basement Systems, Inc.
Back into the left of the ball. Takes a breath. Right foot. He got it, baby! Sends St. Clair the wrong way. Heads right to the supporters section where he's swarmed by Forever City Redkins. Yeboah a few steps back. He hesitates. Right foot. Able to swish it by Berkey. Yeboah in the orange boots. Hesitates with the right foot. Softly done. Elevates it slightly. Gets it by Berkey off to his left. Minnesota United 2. St. Louis City SC 1.
Up next, City SC faces Aston Villa Wednesday night. Kick at 7:30 on Y98.
Tripping over uneven concrete? Don't replace it. Raise it with concrete leveling. Call the All Things Basement-y experts, Wood Basement Systems, for a free estimate at 618-249-5503 or learn more at woodsbasementsystems.com.
It is 6:35 and you are listening to Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman, and Kimberly Adams has your money report from Bloomberg. Sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
Good morning. There were lots of deals happening over the past few days. First up, there's a new trade deal between the U.S. and European Union, and it's winning praise from several EU leaders who say the agreement is sustainable. It calls for the EU to pay a 15% tariff on most exports to the U.S., including cars. It goes into effect Friday. President Trump calling it the biggest of all deals. There's a multi-billion-dollar deal between Samsung Electronics and Tesla. Samsung will produce artificial intelligence chips for the EV automaker. The plan calls for the next generation semiconductors to be made at a plant Samsung plans to build in Taylor, Texas. And a mega deal in the railroad industry is reportedly close. Sources say we could hear very soon that Union Pacific has agreed to acquire Norfolk Southern, the two railroads confirming late last week that negotiations were underway. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
The Missouri Athletic Club has made an announcement, and that is they have 2 new leadership hires for their new MAC location in Clayton. Yes, you've not heard, the Missouri Athletic Club is moving to Clayton. They're not moving out of downtown or the MAC West. They are adding a new location in Clayton at the Pierre Laclede Center. Greg Gerber will serve as Director of Operations, and Morgan Smith will assume the role of Membership Manager. These appointments represent a major milestone as the Missouri Athletic Club expands into Clayton, further establishing the Pierre Laclede Center as a premier destination in the St. Louis business community. Gerber joins the MAC after more than 25 years of experience in hospitality and restaurant management, and the addition as well of Smith, who joins the MAC team, playing a key role in membership operations. She has a lot of experience as well, earned her MBA from right here in St. Louis at Lindenwood University. The Missouri Athletic Club continuing to grow, and now a new location in Clayton, mac-stl.org.
If something happens to you, what happens to your family? Will they struggle financially? Will they be able to afford the home you built together? With Ethos, you can get life insurance coverage in minutes. Get up to $2 million in coverage for as little as $2 a day. All online with no medical exam. Just answer a few health questions. Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Rates may vary. Billed monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. Classes start August 13th. Apply now and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today, 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the Voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
6:40. Welcome to another hot work week. We've got the forecast with Joe Lundberg on the way. Let's get the projection on your ride in right now from Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's doing all right out there. I mean, there's a few more folks on the highways, Debbie, but overall, it's not a big deal. This traffic reports a service of Saks Financial. If you're getting up and getting going, heading up on 55, that's always one of the first places to see some slow traffic. It's just a little busy around Mattis, and then again approaching Loughborough to Virginia. It's slower now. North 270 north of Gravois up to 44, but after that doesn't look as bad. Changes pretty constantly, but definitely more volume there, of course. Eastbound 30, Mauer to 270. You've got some slow traffic running up the hill from out west. Southbound 61, eastbound 6470 look great, headed for the Missouri River bridges. Downtown across the Poplar Musial Veterans Bridges, things are still light and on the go for you as well. And again, I mentioned in the last report that they finished up that roadwork about 3:45, 4 o'clock. Yesterday afternoon on westbound 5570 between 159 and 157, so you no longer have to take that lengthy detour of 270 west to 255 south. So that should be a big help for folks, especially during the morning commutes. But I've been seeing a lot of traffic backed up in the afternoons as well, so I'm sure folks are glad to be done with that. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Hey, it's Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial, retiresafestl.com. Have you ever wondered what it's like to work with a financial advisor? Are you in your 50s or early 60s and really haven't talked to anybody about how you retire? Give me a call today. Check out our website, retiresafestl.com.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, we're not the only ones experiencing this heat wave. It's amazing. It's affected like half the country.
It really is. It really extends from the Rockies all the way to the eastern seaboard, just everybody kind of suffering through it. There's relief on the way. We're going to have to wait till, I think, Thursday to really feel the effect of it in terms of lowering temperatures. We might actually get rid of the humidity, too, on Friday. But today, nothing doing. It is going to be a what we call a boilerplate ridge. It's just going to be so hot out there. 97-hour forecast high with AccuWeather real field temperatures 110 or better with plenty of sunshine. Overnight tonight, we're expecting partly cloudy skies. Our low just 79. The heat continues during the day. Tomorrow, we're going to see another day with sunshine and a high into the upper 90s with real feels over 110. Wednesday, though, we'll see a few more clouds around it. With them, probably some thunderstorm activity, especially in the afternoon. There could be some severe weather tied to that, the high 92. Front straddling the area Thursday means more clouds but less heat and a chance for some thunderstorms, the high 81. We get back to some sunshine Friday, but it stays very comfortable with a high of 81. At this hour with sunshine, 80 in St. Peter's, 81 in Florissant, and 83 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:42 and the news continues. Thousands of union workers at Boeing may go on strike next week. The union representing machinists voted yesterday to reject the company's new contract offer of a 20% raise over 4 years. The current contract expired at midnight overnight. Last month, union members voted to a 7-day cooling off period before a strike would begin.
Lincoln County declared a state of emergency after flash flooding forced several people to evacuate Saturday. 42 others had to be rescued in the city of Ellsbury. The Lincoln County Emergency Management Agency says dozens of homes were damaged from flooding.
Shaquille O'Neal, NBA legend, but also a fierce advocate for higher education. Not many people know that he holds 3 degrees, a bachelor's, an MBA, and a doctorate in education. I did not know that. Shaq is also an investor in an online college called Campus, and he just announced a new scholarship program for talented young people to achieve their college dreams. He was on CBS Morning saying his son helped him to realize that this program is needed.
My son told me something very one day. I was kind of upset with him, but it kind of hit me. Said college isn't for everybody. But, everybody, a lot of people want to go to college that don't have the opportunity like we have the opportunity to go to college. So, with this, we give them, the opportunity to get their education.
Well, I love when former players use their platform and their profile to help. And, Shaquille O'Neal has plenty of money. He has plenty of fame, but he continues to give back. And there are others like him. I love that story. And he is a really smart guy. Absolutely. It's coming up on 6:45. Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Michael McGreevy had a rough day yesterday. He got knocked around by the San Diego Padres. Final score was 9-2. McGreevy got hit for 7 runs. This is going to happen. He's a young starter. He replaced Eric Fetty in the rotation, and his first time as a full-time member did not go well at Busch Stadium. 7 runs on 9 hits, walked 2, struck out 2 in 4 2/3 innings. Day before that, Matthew Liberatore only went 4 1/3. The Cardinals' rotation is just not getting the job done. McGreevy yesterday had struggles. He threw 99 pitches, though, so he was able to take it, eat it, and try to save the bullpen as best he could. Andre Granillo went 2 1/3 after that, gave up a run on 3 hits. John King went 2, and the Cardinals got trounced. They could only score 2 runs in the ball game. In fact, they only scored 1 run in the Saturday game. So just 3 runs scored by the Cardinals in the last 2 games of the series. They split the 4-game series with the Padres. The man that McGreevy replaced in the rotation got traded yesterday, Eric Fetty. He was designated for assignment. That meant the Cardinals could trade him within 7 days, put him on waivers. If nothing happened, they could release him. The Braves jumped on it. They traded for Fetty. They're desperate for starters. Every member of the Braves rotation has been placed on the injured list, so they're looking for somebody, and they got Fetty. cash considerations, or a player to be named. That's what the Cardinals will get in return. Speaking of that, we are 3 days away from the trade deadline. John Mozeliak, Cardinals president of baseball operations, discussing the situation with me on Sports on a Sunday Morning on KMOX.
Obviously it's delicate. We're still trying to find a way to remain competitive, to try to get ourselves into October, to take the roll of the dice and see where it ends. But in the meantime, you're on the calendar, you're on the clock. And what that means is if we don't make any decisions with our roster prior to the 5 o'clock Central on July 31st, then there's nothing left we can do. And, obviously we're in a unique situation. We have some talented arms that people are interested in. And I think we owe it to the organization, we owe it to our fan base to at least listen, explore, and see what that might look like. And, those are never fun things to do. You'd like to be on the other end where you're looking to add, but maybe there might be some version of addition by subtraction as we go through this.
Cardinals president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak. The full conversation on our Sports on a Sunday Morning podcast page at KMOX.com. Always worth a subscription. Doesn't cost you anything to get your Sports on a Sunday Morning podcast straight to your device. We had a lot of good guests yesterday, including Kirk Herbstreit of ESPN's College Game Day, Lutz Pfannenstiel, sporting director for City, and we looked at the Baseball Hall of Fame class of 2025. What a class that went in yesterday. Ichiro Suzuki, CC Sabathia, Billy Wagner, 3 big-time legends all within their generation. Ichiro, one of the greatest hitters and fielders of all time. Sabathia, former Cy Young Award winner. And for the 10th time, Billy Wagner gets in on his 10th try and final try. The former closer for the Astros posthumously inducted Dave Parker, one of the great players of his generation, and Dick Allen. Both of them have a Cardinals connection. Allen played for the Cardinals in 1970. Parker was actually hitting coach for Tony La Russa and the Cardinals in 1998. Bubba Wallace wins the Brickyard 400. We'll take a look at that coming up at 7:15. For now, we tell you that St. Louis Composting is a great place to pick up mulch. I actually had somebody text me yesterday and said, hey, where again do I pick up mulch? I need some mulch this summer for my yard. We are in need of it. I said stlcompost.com. It's that simple. They have an entire menu of products and services. You can order not only mulch, but soil, compost. They have 9 locations in the St. Louis area. So if you own a business and you need some landscaping done, you can have your truck come over and pick up mulch at St. Louis Composting. 9 locations in the St. Louis area. Or you can just do what we did, which is have it delivered to our home. But again, if you have a truck or trailer, you can pick up your order at any of their 9 locations. No need to order online or pay delivery fees. Just stop by and they will take care of the loading. That's how easy that is, St. Louis Composting. But we had it delivered to our home, stlcompost.com, stlcompost.com.
Dive into adventure this summer at the St. Louis Aquarium's Summer of the Shark. Get face to fin with some of the ocean's most awe-inspiring creatures in shark-themed exhibits, jaw-dropping displays, and interactive experiences for the whole family. Whether you're a fin-tastic fan or just curious, there's hands-on fun and fascinating facts around every corner at the St. Louis Aquarium. Don't miss your chance to make a splash. Plan your visit today at stlouisunionstation.com. That's stlouisunionstation.com.
The KMOX City FC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. It's the Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill on Lindbergh, Thursday, August 7th. A limited number of fans can get an autograph or picture with City SC defensive midfielder Jake Gerwood-Wright. Register to win great prizes. Enjoy great food and a cold drink. Hot Shots on Lindbergh, the place to be Thursday, August 7th from 5 till 7 p.m. for the City SC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:50. Time to check in with Roger Brandon, the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things look great on the highways, Debbie. Just a little busy, but no big deal, really. This traffic report's a service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. 55 coming up through McNutt looks fine. 67 at Double C, a little busy. Once you get on 55 in the city, or approaching the city anyway, we've got a couple of slow spots. Let's call it like Weber up through Holly Hills, just a little busy in a couple of points there. North 270 busy or approaching Gravois. There's a slowdown from about Big Bend to Doherty Ferry, and then it's picking up the pace. Still looks okay both ways. 270 at Ladue. Southbound 61 on to eastbound 64 or 70 coming in from the Wentzville area. Still look fine downtown. We're clear across the Poplar and Musel Veterans Bridges. They reopened some closed roadways over the weekend. Lindbergh north of 64 between Conway North and South has been reopened. That happened Saturday evening, I believe about 5 p.m. And yesterday, a little bit before 4 p.m., they opened westbound 5570 between 159 and 157. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
All right, take a deep breath before you head out there today. It is hot, hot, hot. Extreme heat warning remains in effect through 7 o'clock tonight. Hot and humid today, high 97. It's going to feel like over 110 this afternoon. Tonight, mainly clear, warm and humid, low 79. Tomorrow, much of the same, hot and humid, high 99 with real feels over 110. Currently, it's 79, feels like 85 downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:52 and time for us to check in with our CBS News business analyst, Jill Schlesinger. And I just love the headline of your blog for today. FedWatch and the Burrito Barometer.
You know, I'm trying to get you all excited about the economy. And now I think I may have done
I love burritos.
I love burritos
Who
too.
doesn't love a burrito?
Yeah.
Come on now. I thought about the Burrito Barometer. I thought this up. This is made up. There is no Burrito Barometer. I made it up last week because I was looking at the earnings of Chipotle, right? Big, fast, casual restaurant. Just one restaurant, just one quarter, but it was kind of a rotten quarter for them, worse than expected. And their same store sales were down by 4%. It's like really wondering, in my mind, well, is this telling us that consumers are under pressure and they're cutting back on those like little small indulgences, like a $15 burrito? And if that is happening just at Chipotle, could it start happening elsewhere? Does it mean that the economy is weakening and the Fed should cut rates? Or does it mean that people are really starting to feel like the inflation story is bubbling up again and they're pulling back because they're like, this costs more than it used to? And so that's what I'm thinking about. Is the Burrito Barometer what is it telling us about the economy? I think it is telling us that a very large group of Americans who has said to us that prices have been high for a few years, that maybe that whole process of being like, it's the reopening and I'm so happy and it's post-COVID and I'm out spending, I think that is now caught up with us. And now people are like, I'm just not going to spend as much.
Yeah.
And that would be interesting. Do you guys, now here's my very official survey. Do you find that you're pulling back on something that you used to spend more money on?
I'd have to think about that. I've noticed the price of, let's say, going out to eat has increased.
I know.
Right.
I want to support our restaurants,
Yeah.
but it's just like a quick meal.
Yeah,
costs
that's
a fortune.
That's definitely one thing I notice. I try to cook at home a little bit more, but I love supporting our restaurants, Jill.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think, how most people feel. Like you want to be out there in your local community. On the other hand, here in New York City, please come visit and spend all of your money, your big St. Louis dollars here. But I mean, there are things like a lot of people say to me, like, I'm not going out to dinner. If I'm going to theater tickets are so expensive. Like, I'm just going to eat home and then go to theater. And so it's a funny thing, like everybody's making a little bit of an adjustment. Or, by the way, I did notice and hear that somebody went to a bar recently and they told me the old fashioned was $30.
Oh,
That's
my
just insanity. That's just say no to that. So if we all start making decisions like that, what does this really mean? It means that our collective decisions would likely slow things down a little bit. I'm not suggesting we're going into a recession. I think most economists have pulled back their recession calls right now. But, you look at these deals that are coming out, deal with Japan and deal with Europe. There's still tariffs. There's still going to be some price pressure on certain things. It may or may not feed through the overall economy, but I think that there is a little bit of an exhaustion from high prices, even though we are not seeing 9% inflation rate. It's just that prices have stayed high. And that is what the Fed is really trying to suss out. They're trying to say, is growth slowing down? enough that we should pull back on these interest rates. They're meeting this week. They are unlikely to move at this meeting, but there is some evidence mounting, forgetting about the president and the taunts and all that. There's real economic evidence mounting that the Fed really might think about putting interest rates at 0.25% lower at the September meeting. Again, I don't think it's going to happen this time around, but don't be surprised if the Fed starts to chat a little bit more about slowing growth.
When I come to New York, I'll spend some money on an old fashioned at Gramercy Tavern. I'll tell you that.
You will.
right now.
I'll tell you what. You come to New York, I'll take you out to Gramercy Tavern. Okay, you come
You got it.
with St. Louis's own Danny Meyer. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I'll take you up on that. Have a great day, Jill. JillOnMoney.com. We appreciate you.
Take care.
It's 6:56.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Terry Schmidt, Karen Reeves, Gloria Schmerbach, Michael Bear, Trevor Simpson, Blaine Reed. Happy 54th to the twins, Rachel and Ryan Zorgo, Neil Richardson, Danny Valentine, and happy birthday wishes to Sam Moore from all your fans of the History Museum.
This is the best birthday ever.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an 8+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Soccer fans, St. Louis City SC hosts English Premier League giants, the Aston Villa Football Club. Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
Many of you know that my inspiration for becoming an accident attorney was my brother Tim, who was rendered a quadriplegic at age 18. I didn't know what a personal injury lawyer was or what they did, but I soon did. Tim was treated terribly by the insurance company, and I became enraged. It was a constant delay and deny. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Tim later worked with me for 27 years. Last year, my hero died at age 65. You can see my eulogy for him by visiting mybrothertim.com. He was one hell of a man. Because of Tim, together we built the largest injury firm in the world, and our clients are treated the way I would want my family to be treated. At Morgan & Morgan, nobody is a nobody and everybody is a somebody. If you need our help, visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer. See you soon, Tim. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
An extreme heat warning. It's 79 degrees downtown at the Arch.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The president is in Scotland today, where he's showing British Prime Minister Keir Starmer around his two golf clubs after reaching a trade agreement with European nations. Correspondent Weijia Jiang is in Edinburgh.
We've reached a deal.
President Trump announced he and the president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, struck a new deal between the U.S. and the EU.
I think it's great that we made a deal today instead of playing games.
It's a big deal. It's a huge deal. Trump said the tariff rate for EU's 27 member countries would be 15% for most imports, including vehicles.
He may be an ocean away, but Mr. Trump cannot escape the controversy back home surrounding the Epstein files. Correspondent Scott McFarland.
The president continued to face questions about Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, you got to be kidding with that.
Members of both parties have called for more transparency, including a bipartisan push to force the Department of Justice to release the files related to Epstein. The Justice Department has also not released any details about what Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche learned during his two-day interview with Epstein's co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell.
No break for Americans who've been sweating out these last few days of July. Meteorologist Craig Allen.
There are nearly 30 states with some kind of heat alert that could include a heat advisory or an excessive heat warning.
This woman in New Orleans is in one of those states.
Honestly, I feel like as a child, the heat is not the same as it is now. It feels like it's on a completely different level.
Predicted high for the Big Easy today is 93. A deadly day at a fresh food market in Bangkok, popular with tourists. Rescuers rushed to help victims after a gunman killed 5 people, among them security guards. Police say the shooter killed himself. There's no word on a motive. More Americans are dipping into retirement savings early. CBS's Christopher Cruz.
The adoption of automatic enrollment policies has led to record amounts of money being poured into 401ks. But Vanguard, which manages millions of retirement accounts, says we're also withdrawing more money than ever before we retire. The company says last year, almost 5% of employees took a hardship distribution from their 401ks for financial emergencies, more than double pre-pandemic levels.
A surprise treat for Destiny's Child fans on the final night of Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter tour. The audience went wild when the Queen Bee rose up onto the stage in Vegas with Michelle Williams and original member Kelly Rowland by her side. Each had appeared at separate stops on Beyoncé's tour. Dow futures up 20. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius or 2 half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx.
You are listening to Total Information AM. Currently, it is 7:04, and we've got sunshine, 80 degrees already downtown. The news is sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. A strike is looming as local union members reject Boeing's latest contract offer.
The International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, District 837 in St. Louis, overwhelmingly voted against a proposal which included a 20% general wage increase over 4 years and a $5,000 ratification bonus, plus more sick and vacation time. Dan Gillian, Boeing's Air Dominance Vice President and Senior St. Louis Executive, expressed disappointment, stating it was the richest contract offer ever presented to the union. With the previous contract ending Sunday and the 7-day cooling off period underway, Boeing has activated its contingency plan and no further talks are scheduled. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Lincoln County Emergency Management telling residents to be cautious and heed all safety directions from local officials as recovery starts today following dangerous flash flooding Saturday night.
Dozens of people had to be rescued from their homes in areas that turned into raging rivers.
Displaced residents were being helped by the Red Cross, where operations remained active at the United Methodist Church in Ellsbury. The Red Cross's Sharon Watson tells KMOX they also opened up a shelter Sunday at the American Legion post in Clarksville. As to what you can do to help,
we always encourage people to call 1-800-RED-CROSS if they are able to donate financially to support our response efforts in situations like this, or if they're interested in helping volunteer and be part of a local response team in the future. We encourage them to consider volunteering through the redcross.org website. And those types of things really do help us to continue all the work that we do in these settings.
As coordinated damage assessments and cleanup operations start today, Lincoln County officials are saying there will be further updates, including volunteer opportunities and resource distribution information. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
It was one of the few projects to actually be built by Paul McKee's Northside Regeneration Plan, the short-lived Homer G. Phillips Memorial Hospital. The lawsuit filed over the use of the name was just the first of many lawsuits. There are now 8 more filed since December by medical providers and a construction contractor seeking more than $3.5 million. The hospital opened and closed within a year, with one former nurse questioning why it was even built, telling the Post-Dispatch it was done before it opened. City officials now want the property back. It's directly across the street from the new NGA headquarters.
One of St. Louis's companies of the future is in the business of taking so-called busy work off your plate. Real Document Solutions is the latest Arch Grants cohort. Founder Denise Williams tells Michael Calhoun about their software for those who deal with public and legal records.
What are some different workflows that you've been able to streamline because of this?
Yes. Streamlining workflows is what we do. So what we often find are people are struggling with the email beast, as I like to call it. They're sending in orders via email, asking for updates via email, sending documents via email. So what RDS does is centralizes all that.
She says it's resulted in a 60% increase in productivity. You'll hear more about this in the 8 o'clock hour of Total Information AM.
That's the St. Louis Slam, back-to-back champions. Professional women's football team beating the DC Divas in Canton, Ohio over the weekend, 26-14 to finish an undefeated season. Their second Women's Football Alliance championship in a row, 6th overall title. The Slam were trailing 14-6 at the half before turning it around. The game's most valuable player, Slam running back Jada Humphrey, rushed for more than 130 yards and scored a touchdown.
It is 7:08. We're going to check the traffic and weather for you. Plus,
I'm Sean Malone. If Republicans redistrict Missouri to try to pick up another seat, could that plan backfire? I think. Coming up, I pose that question to Congressman Onder.
Stay with us on Total Information AM.
The smartest way to do your homework is Ackerman Lumber.
Warm weather means homework for homeowners. And for 80 years, Ackerman Lumber has been a trusted name for home improvement. If your homework means a new deck, turn to the deck experts at Ackerman Lumber. Browse the largest inventory of decking materials and accessories in Missouri. Talk with their experts about treated lumber, cedar, TimberTech, Trex, Envision, AZEK, and decorators to find the perfect deck for you. Choose from endless railings, balusters, and LED deck lighting options. And they will not be undersold on in-stock decking materials, guaranteed. Ackerman has you covered. Building a new fence or replacing an old one? Ackerman Lumber now carries in stock Eastern Red Cedar, the perfect choice for long-lasting, beautiful landscaping. Inventory includes 4x4 and 6x6 posts, dog ear pickets, and 2x4 framing. Homeowners and pros will find everything they need to build it right the first time. Visit Ackerman Lumber's newly remodeled stores in St. Peters, Pacific, and Troy, Missouri.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Seems like back to school happens earlier each year.
First day of school coming in hot.
And this year, my kids had massive supply lists.
Folders, notebooks, and pens. Oh, the humanity.
But Staples had everything I needed, with some items just 25 cents.
Watch the small print.
No. My back to school budget was saved by Staples Easy Button.
Everything for school, in stock and as low as 25 cents. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. In 23 while supplies last.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
See a lot of green on that map, Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, not too many people should be complaining about that time. It looks great out there right now. Pretty easy going morning. There's just a little bit of slow traffic. It shuffles around, but right now we're just looking at some slow stuff coming up through Big Bend toward Doherty Ferry on northbound 270. It looks great further down to the south. Eastbound 30 is a little busy approaching Mauer, but east of that, it looks good up the hill to 270, 55 at McNutt and north of Bayless. And the work zones for right now is calmed down. Southbound 61, haven't seen any delays there yet. Eastbound 64, eastbound 70 look great. Coming in from Wentzville across the Missouri River Bridges, 79 at North Main Street, you're good to go. And over the weekend, they reopened Lindbergh, north of 64 there between Conway North and Conway South. And yesterday afternoon, they reopened westbound 5570 between 159 and 157. So good news there as well. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
An extreme heat warning remains in effect through 7 p.m. Wednesday. Sunshine for the most part today. Very hot and oppressively humid, the high 97, with AccuWeather real field temperatures climbing past 110. Mainly clear, very warm and sticky tonight, though 79. More sun than clouds tomorrow. Very hot and humid, high 99. The real feels again well over 110. Still hot and humid on Wednesday with sun and clouds. There can be a thunderstorm in the afternoon that can produce flooding, downpours, and damaging winds. Wednesday's high 92. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now in St. Peter's, Florissant, and downtown St. Louis, we've got sunshine and 80 degrees.
It's 7:12. Missouri's congressional map could be redrawn to give Republicans an extra seat.
Kansas City Congressman Emanuel Cleaver's seat is in the crosshairs if Missouri lawmakers break up his district. Congressman Bob Onder pushed for this change in 2022 as a state senator. However, with the House majority flipping in the last two midterm elections, could Onder's push backfire with Democrats gaining a seat?
I think there are plenty of Republicans in those areas that would create this new district that I think you would have 7 safe Republican seats.
Onder says Missouri Republicans in 2022 were not as aggressive as blue states were with redistricting. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A Missouri congressman co-sponsoring a bill that would reorganize FEMA.
The bill's been introduced in the U.S. House by Representative Sam Graves, a Republican in the 6th District. The measure would restore the agency to cabinet-level status, and its director would report directly to the president. MissouriNet says the bill would also reduce the amount of paperwork disaster victims are required to fill out, and it would ban FEMA money from being spent on housing for illegal immigrants or on other non-disaster events. In addition, the bill would make it illegal to discriminate against disaster victims based on politics. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
KMOX continues to follow developments in the Tanya Haddix case. She is the chimp crazy lady who claimed Tonka, the movie Chimp, was dead, but in fact, she was hiding him in her basement in Festus.
Last weekend, Haddix was arrested by U.S. Marshals in Camden County after a Missouri state court judge found 4 companies affiliated with her and her husband in contempt of court for ignoring orders to hand over financial records and other related documents to PETA. Haddix was released from custody Saturday. We have since learned that Haddix was hiding another chimp. Her bond has been revoked and she'll remain in custody until her sentencing August 7th.
The price of cocoa beans at an all-time high, driving up the cost of chocolate, but that's not stopping Bissinger's, made by Chocolate on the Hill. The company's Dan Abel tells the Post-Dispatch they believe people will still be willing to splurge on sweet treats, and they're gearing up for a national retail expansion, starting with 10 new stores. Bissinger's already sold at more than 1,000 locations, including Barnes & Noble, but there are only 3 retail stores: Plaza Frontenac, Galleria, headquarters on the Hill. A 4th location could be coming soon to Palm Beach. The company is in the midst of a 30,000 square foot expansion that will include a cafe, cocktail lounge, and welcome center for factory tours. Let's get to it. First of all, congratulations to Bubba Wallace for winning the Brickyard 400. First black driver to win a major race on the oval at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Significant development in racing. Wallace was a big part of the launch of the Enjoy Illinois 300, the NASCAR race here in St. Louis. He was part of their announcements at Worldwide Technology Raceway, diversity and inclusion when it comes to racing, and he will be in the playoffs. There's a playoff race here in St. Louis on September 7th. Now to baseball.
With Ricky Gordon, I'm John Rooney. It was a rare clunker for Michael McGreevy at Busch Stadium yesterday. He gave up 2 runs before he got an out in the first inning. The Padres added on with a run in the third, a 4-run fourth inning, and then they tacked on runs in the 7th and 8th, beating the Cardinals 9-2.
A complete game for the Padres' point of view. They had 16 hits, several great defensive plays by their shortstop, Iglesias. Cardinals couldn't get anything going until Alec Burleson hit a 2-run homer late, also added a double later, but really not much else happening for the Cardinals.
It was very difficult for the Cardinals to put base runners and hits together, even in their 3-0 win on Friday.
Yeah, the pitching is pretty good for the Padres. Their bullpen is especially good, so they are pretty stingy when it comes to giving up hits.
It was a split in the 4-game series. The Marlins are in for 3 6:45 games beginning tonight. Andre Palante will pitch for the Cardinals on the air at 5:50.
After designating him for assignment, the Cardinals have traded Eric Fetty to the Atlanta Braves for cash considerations or a player to be named later. President of Baseball Operations John Mozeliak 3 days before the deadline on Sports on a Sunday Morning. Has it been mostly arms? I mean, I never ask about players, as people know. You and I don't talk about that. It's been the policy. But is it mostly pitching? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, most people going into the trading deadline are focused on arms. And the reason being is because you're trying to make that final push in the last 2 months to play for a third month. And so that's usually where you start to see teams, players hit fatigue moments, and it's just good to replenish. And, you know, my time of being on the buyer side, you're always looking for pitching. That's just the name of the game. Now, when you look at our everyday club, as far as position players, we don't have anybody really on expiring contracts. So there's no real push to try to move one of our position players.
That's John Mozeliak, Sports on a Sunday Morning. Player to bank on, brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Invested in you. We pay tribute to the Hall of Famers who were inducted yesterday.
Ichiro Suzuki became the first Japanese-born player to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame on Sunday in Cooperstown. The former AL MVP and 10-time All-Star outfielder fell 1 vote shy of becoming the second unanimous selection and took a jab at the unidentified sports writer who didn't vote for him during the ceremony.
The offer for that writer to have dinner at my home has now expired.
Suzuki was joined by CC Sabathia, a 6-time All-Star who won the 2007 AL Cy Young Award, and relief pitcher Billy Wagner. Dave Parker and Dick Allen were honored posthumously. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball. 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Calling all soccer fans, the Premier League is coming to STL. St. Louis City SC will host English Premier League giants Aston Villa Football Club Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. Wednesday, July 30th at 7:30 p.m. That's stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
Hey guys, Dave and Rach here for our good friends at Smart Mouth. So it is unique by the very definition of the word. It's the only mouth rinse out there with 2 chemicals that combine to prevent bad breath for 24 hours a day with just 2 rinses a day.
Never have bad breath again. You can find Smart Mouth locally at Schnucks and Deerbergs or at Walgreens, Walmart, and Amazon. Visit smartmouth.com to snag a special discount on your next Smart Mouth purchase. That's smartmouth.com/Glover.
How many of you think taxes are going to go up in the future? And if they do, who will be hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes and Retirement Seminar, Tuesday, August 26th or Thursday, August 28th at Fleming's. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey, let's take a look right now at the roadways and the weather. It looks like a breezy morning out there. I'm not sure it's going to cool anything off. We'll take a look at that in just a second. First, here is the road conditions from Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're not really heating up, Debbie. I mean, we're still doing all right on the roads. Just a few slowdowns. Of course, we have a few more weeks of that, maybe a month at most, and everybody's back to school, and that changes the picture on the drive-in in the mornings with more folks out on the roads earlier and kids going back to school and whatnot. But right now, like I said, not bad, just a little slow. North of Bayless up to River to Pear on northbound 55, northbound 270. Bogs down both sides of Tesson Ferry. It's still kind of slow between Big Bend and Doherty Ferry. Still looking good both directions, 270 through the work zone at Ladue. Southbound 61 on to eastbound 64 or 70 coming out of Wentzville. Still wide open downtown. We're still clear westbound across the Poplar and Musel Veterans Bridges again over the weekend. They reopened Lindbergh north of 64 between the Conways, and they reopened westbound 5570 between 159 and 157 as well. So that's helping folks out on the drives this morning also. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather forecast. AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says the heat continues, but we do get some relief at the end of the week. Believe it or not, it is going to go away. Heat warning and extreme heat warning remains in effect through 7 o'clock Wednesday night. Today, high 97 feels like 110. Tomorrow, high 99 feels like 110. Wednesday, chance of a thunderstorm in the afternoon with a high of 92, and that could cool some things off. Humid Thursday, but a high of only 81. And then Friday, less humid, mostly sunny, a high of 81 degrees. That's what we're talking about. Finally. Right now, it's 80 in Florissant, 80 in St. Peter's, 81 degrees, 90% humidity downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:22. President Trump announcing a new trade deal between the U.S. and European Union. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Zhang has details from Scotland.
President Trump announced he and the president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, struck a new deal between the U.S. and the EU. The two largest economies in the world trade about $2 trillion of goods and services every year.
I think it's great that we made a deal today instead of playing games. I think it's the biggest deal ever made.
It's a big deal. It's a huge deal. It will bring stability. It will bring predictability.
Trump said the tariff rate for EU's 27 member countries would be 15% for most imports, including vehicles. The EU has agreed to purchase U.S. military equipment, $750 billion of American energy, and increase its investment into the U.S. by $600 billion. And there's good news for U.S. companies that sell products to the EU.
All of the countries will be opened up to trade with the United States at zero tariff.
U.S. and Chinese officials are meeting in Stockholm to discuss trade tariffs.
If we can get AI to help us with medical innovation, wonderful. If we can get AI to help creators rather than hurt them, that's superb.
That's Senator Josh Hawley expressing concern with AI and where it is headed. He says these companies are grabbing everything they can get their hands on, all of the creative material, all the personal data, and Hawley tells Axios they aren't even asking anyone.
There's something wrong with that. And I think if we continue down that road, we're going to have a major reckoning, and that's before we get to the potential mass displacement of jobs. I mean, we are looking at potentially, with this AI revolution that's being forecast, huge loss of jobs for working people, entry-level white-collar jobs. I think we better start thinking really hard about that.
Illinois Senator Dick Durbin continues sounding the alarm about the dangers that President Trump's reconciliation bill is causing. He spoke about those concerns at Southern Illinois University Springfield Medical School. In addition to the Medicaid cuts, Durbin pointed to funding for medical research that will go away. He also talked about putting a cap on loans that medical students will be able to take out. Durbin says this comes at a time when we need more physicians, not fewer.
We need more and more. So these provisions at the medical school are well known and well documented.
The Trump administration continues to face calls to disclose more details about convicted child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Last week, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche met for 2 days with Ghislaine Maxwell, who's been convicted for her role in Epstein's trafficking ring. While in Europe, the president is still getting questions about the situation. Here's CBS's Natalie Brand.
And the president not wanting to talk about this while abroad, but here in the U.S., there's still this bipartisan push over on Capitol Hill for more information about the Epstein files. And now we're learning that some House Democrats are actually pushing to try to obtain that alleged birthday book from 2003, which was the focus of that Wall Street Journal article.
Saturday at Denver International Airport, 173 passengers and 6 crew members on board a Boeing 737 MAX 8 evacuated due to an incident with the plane's landing gear during takeoff. Here's CBS's Elise Preston.
American Airlines says the tire blew and the rapid deceleration caused a brake fire. All 179 aboard got out safely. One passenger had minor injuries. Now the FAA is investigating. On Friday, a Southwest jet was forced to make a rapid descent, the pilot fearing a mid-air collision with a smaller vintage fighter jet.
That's not good.
Earlier this month, an engine fire forced a Delta flight to make an emergency landing at LAX.
A Delta Airlines co-pilot was arrested by federal agents and sheriff's deputies just after his flight landed at San Francisco International Airport Saturday night. Authorities, acting on a warrant from the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Office, boarded Flight 2809 from Minneapolis and took the co-pilot into custody from the cockpit. The specific charges the co-pilot faces have not yet been released.
80 years ago today, a U.S. Army B-25 bomber crashed into the Empire State Building. CBS News reporter Christopher Cruz takes us back to that day.
The plane was flying at 200 miles an hour in foggy conditions. Just before 10 in the morning, it hit the 79th floor of what was then the tallest structure in the world.
It smashed through 7 walls. Blazing petrol set 11 stories of the building on fire. No one knew what had happened. The wildest rumors spread through New York.
11 people in the building were killed. If not for the fact that it was a Saturday, many more would have died. The crew of 3, 2 Army pilots and a Navy man along for the ride were killed. Some feared it was an attack by a Japanese plane.
Disaster units organized in wartime were quick to respond to aid the wounded.
Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
It's 7:28. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
McKelvey Homes. Why choose McKelvey? Because McKelvey is the best. First of all, McKelvey has been around since 1898, Missouri's oldest home builder, a tradition of excellence since 1898. It's always been their mission at McKelvey Homes to uncover the most appealing neighborhood settings in terms of topography, home site size, privacy, as well as proximity to highly rated schools, parks, entertainment, major thoroughfares. Simply put, McKelvey Homes tries their best to build where families want to live. And they design superb homes. Every McKelvey Homes community features a sophisticated portfolio of floor plan selections that place a premium on luxury and value while maximizing space, volume, livability, and functionality. And furthermore, they will gladly accommodate your requests to customize. It's an unrivaled reputation at McKelvey Homes, Missouri's oldest and most respected name in the industry. They've been building a tradition of excellence since 1898. McKelvey recognized for knowledge, experience, integrity, and financial stability. Legendary quality at McKelvey. Personal service as well. McKelveyhomes.com. Move up to McKelvey.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
It is 7:30. We've got sunshine, 80 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand, what do you see? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, a little more volume, but Tom, it really doesn't look bad. It's been a pretty easygoing morning, quiet, not really any trouble spots. We've had a few stalls here and there, but nothing blocking. Just more volume out there right now. So we're starting to see slowdowns again on northbound 55 from Bayless up to about Virginia. Northbound 270 slow. North of 55 approaching Tesson Ferry, and then you start to slow down again as you climb up the hill north of 44 through Big Bend up toward Manchester. It's just busier in general through there. We still look good out west. Southbound 61, eastbound 64, eastbound 70, coming across the Missouri River bridges. 270 both ways at Ladue, still not bad. Eastbound 64 slow. 170 through Hanley and South 170, just not even a slowdown at maybe the U Club Tower. That's about the worst of it. And downtown on the Illinois side, just a little slow volume. Westbound 64 past 50, and then just a little heavy coming across the Poplar Street Bridge after that. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today and tomorrow are still going to be steamy hot. It starts to cool off because of storms on Wednesday. The good news is by Thursday and Friday, we'll be in the low 80s. In the meantime, though, today and tomorrow, very, very hot. It's going to feel both days like it's 110. Today's actual temperature somewhere around 97 degrees. It's 80 right now.
Thousands of union workers at Boeing may go on strike next week. The union representing machinists voted yesterday to reject the company's new contract offer of a 20% raise over 4 years. The current contract expired at midnight overnight. Last month, union members voted to a 7-day cooling off period before a strike would begin.
Torrential rain Saturday night into Sunday morning caused severe flash flooding in parts of Missouri and Illinois.
Up to 10 inches of rain fell in some places, specifically north of St. Louis in Lincoln County and Jersey and Calhoun counties in Illinois. Lincoln County Emergency Management Director Quentin Laws tells Fox 2 about 36 people had to be rescued from the rising waters.
Between 2nd and 7th Street on the south side of Ellsbury was the hardest hit. Basically, that runs along 79. Right along the BNSF Railroad. So it's a low-lying area. It doesn't flood very often, so this is kind of a shocking situation.
Calhoun County officials also reported several water rescues involving people trapped in flooded vehicles. Several roads were closed in the flooded areas, but there were no reports of deaths or injuries. Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
Here's Sharon Watson with the American Red Cross of Missouri and Arkansas.
We are working with the county on an evacuation center. That center has been established by the local community at the American Legion in Clarksville to help support the community. And we're also providing bottled water and cleanup kits.
Cleanup kits have also been delivered to the Ellsbury United Methodist Church on North 4th Street in Ellsbury. At the height of flooding, Lincoln County Emergency Management requested the Region C Boat Rescue Strike Team to assist with several evacuations and water rescues.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 7:33.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
Ask most contractors about a kitchen or bath remodel, and you'll get similar answers.
So how long?
About 2 months. Longer than that. 3 days.
Longer than... Wait a minute, what?
3 days.
3 days?
3 days or less. With 3-day kitchen and bath, you get a new kitchen or bath finished with top quality products and craftsmanship, all in 3 days or less guaranteed.
No eating out because my kitchen is in shambles for a month?
Nope.
No borrowing the neighbor's bathroom for weeks on end?
You'll have a whole new look in 3 days or less.
And those other guys?
They want our web address. Hey, what's your web address? See?
A lot of people will.
Just visit 3daykitchen.com. 3daykitchen.com.
3 days?
3 days. Yeah, isn't that something? 3-day kitchen and bath. Simply amazing.
3-day kitchen and bath.
Home title theft. It's on the rise, and it's devastating if it happens to you. Listen to the alarming words of an actual home title thief.
I don't need to know your date of birth and social security number. All I have to do is go to public records, create a document, and file that document. And then I can borrow against the house or sell the house. You may have no clue until you find out that your house has been sold or till several loans or several banks are foreclosing on you.
For pennies a day, Home Title Lock puts a virtual barrier of protection around your home's title with 24/7 monitoring. The instant they detect any tampering, you'll get an alert. And that's bad news for home title thieves. So when's the last time you checked on the title to your home? Find out if you're already a victim with your free title scan and complete title report. $100 value free with sign up. Just go to HomeTitleLock.com and sign up in minutes. That's HomeTitleLock.com. HomeTitleLock.com.
At 7:35, your money report sponsored by Busey Bank.
Good morning. Microsoft is said to be investigating whether a leak from its early alert system for cybersecurity companies allowed Chinese hackers to exploit flaws in its SharePoint service before they were patched. The tech company is trying to find out if the program design led to the widespread exploitation of vulnerabilities. Victims of the attack now total more than 400 government agencies and corporations worldwide. A mega deal in the railroad industry is reportedly close. Sources say we could hear very soon that Union Pacific has agreed to acquire Norfolk Southern. The two railroads confirmed late last week that negotiations were underway. And don't look for beef prices to ease anytime soon. The Department of Agriculture says its mid-year cattle tally was the lowest in records going back to 1973. A severe cattle shortage has wiped out billions of dollars in profits for JBS, Tyson Foods, and other companies, and it has driven record beef prices at grocery stores. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Life doesn't stand still, and neither do your goals. At Busey Bank, we're here to help you move forward with the financial tools, local support, and expert guidance you need to take your next step. Whether you're growing a business, leaving a legacy, or saving for the future, you'll have a team that's ready when you are. Busey Bank. Building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Dive into adventure this summer at the St. Louis Aquarium's Summer of the Shark. Get face to fin with some of the ocean's most awe-inspiring creatures in shark-themed exhibits, jaw-dropping displays, and interactive experiences for the whole family. Whether you're a fin-tastic fan or just curious, there's hands-on fun and fascinating facts around every corner at the St. Louis Aquarium. Don't miss your chance to make a splash. Plan your visit today at stlouisunionstation.com. That's stlouisunionstation.com.
You know, a number of businesses around the St. Louis area use Gamma Tree Experts for their properties. Gamma Tree Experts Commercial Tree Service maintains trees and shrubs on commercial properties. Just a few examples of their customers: corporate grounds, condominium associations, homeowner associations, apartment complexes, schools, churches, shopping centers, hotels, country clubs. They use Gamma Tree Experts. Commercial tree service programs are designed for all season service. They keep your grounds looking great 24/7. Gamma Tree. I know we talk about the home service that they use, the residential tree service. Well, commercial tree service is a big part of their business, not to mention municipal tree service. A lot of municipalities in St. Louis are searching for ways to maximize their budget dollars. Gamma Tree Experts is the answer to those long-term solutions. GammaTree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Feel like your paycheck barely keeps up with your life? At the Financial Freedom Seminar, learn how real people are building passive income and retiring early using real estate. It's all happening live in St. Louis with Lifestyles Unlimited, September 27th and 28th. You'll leave with a step-by-step plan to change your future. Text radio to 88007. That's September 27th and 28th. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007 now.
STL.
Hey, it's Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial, retiresafestl.com. Have you ever wondered what it's like to work with a financial advisor? Are you in your 50s or early 60s and really haven't talked to anybody about how you retire? Give me a call today. Check out our website, retiresafestl.com.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:40, and it's time for us to get you updated on your ride in and the weather, which is going to continue to be very, very steamy for at least a couple more days. Roger Brand has the latest on the traffic heating up from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we're at the peak of the rush hour, but still just basically slowdowns out there, Debbie, which is good, obviously. This traffic reports the service of Siding Express. So if you're downtown headed in from Illinois, the only delays right now interstate-wise is westbound 64, 3rd Street to the Poplar, kind of slow all the way through there. But other than that, okay. 143 at Bender over in Edwardsville. I'm seeing some backed up traffic. On the Missouri side, on northbound 55, you've got a couple of slow spots. Bayless, Weber, and Loughborough up to Virginia's kind of slow. Northbound 270. North of Gravois, pockets up to Manchester, and then it's just a little busy, 64 to Ladue. South 270, Olive to Ladue, that's slow. Still look great out west on the run-in from Wentzville. Southbound 61 on to eastbound 64 or 70. Both across the Missouri River bridges look fine. Eastbound 64 a backup. McKnight through Hanley, then it opens up South 170, just a slowdown at the Parkway coming down to 64. So, again, not bad for the morning commute. Transform your home with the beauty and durability of James Hardie Siding. At Siding Express, we specialize in James Hardie Siding installation. Visit sidingexpress.com today to schedule a free consultation. That's sidingexpress.com. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Just peeking ahead, AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. This coming weekend looks pretty good.
It's going to be a lot different than it is over the next 2 or 3 days' time. We're expecting relief from the heat and the humidity by the time we get to Friday and going into the start of the weekend. Unfortunately, we still have to deal with an extreme heat warning for today all the way through 7 p.m. Wednesday. A lot of sunshine today, very hot and humid. Our high gets to 97, and the real field temperature should peak over 110. Just a miserable afternoon to be out and about. Clear skies tonight, uncomfortably warm, low 79. Another very hot, humid day tomorrow with sun and some clouds. We could get up to 99. Now, it's not going to be that hot on Wednesday, still low 90s, but with some clouds at times and a thunderstorm in the afternoon, that's going to bring a really end to the heat wave. There could be some severe weather with that later Wednesday. Thursday, lots of clouds, some lingering shower and thunderstorm activity. That'll keep temperatures in the low 80s. And then the sun returns Friday, but without the heat and humidity, only 81 expected on Friday. Right now, it's already above that, 82 in St. Peter's and in Florissant, mostly sunny, 84 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:42.
While the Democrats were playing hardball, we Republicans were playing patty cake. I think we ought to draw a 7-1 map.
Republican Congressman Bob Honor wanting to redraw the congressional lines to help the GOP gain another seat in the House. KMOX asked Honor if changes should be made to take politics out of redistricting.
I don't think so. I think this is the way it has always been, going back to the founders of our republic.
Onder says Trump's large margin of victory in Missouri last year is why the state should be redrawn to give Republicans a 7-1 congressional advantage.
Arch Grants gives out non-investment cash to promising startups. Many of them move here from outside the area, but one of the homegrowns, Real Document Solutions, is in the business of clearing the clutter from your inbox. You might even need fewer bookmarks in your browser once their software is installed. It streamlines the sharing and analyzing of legal and public documents, saving time for people from title insurance professionals to paralegals. Michael Calhoun asked founder Denise Williams about the newest Vanguard.
So I'm curious how AI factors into what you're doing.
We do have some elements of AI, and we're kind of early on our journey. We do have a roadmap to expand that. AI is great, and I say to most people, you've got to start small with those use cases. So those scenarios in your daily workflow where you're doing very low value work, or very administrative tasks. So that's where we're focused right now, is to remove a lot of that low value work so we can repurpose our energies for something that's more important.
What's it like doing a B2B tech startup in St. Louis? Michael asks Williams next hour on Total Information AM.
Need an excuse to fish? The Missouri Department of Conservation is urging anglers to head to Benton Park. That's in South St. Louis near the brewery, where numerous sinkholes are slowly draining their 1-acre lake, which is usually stocked with sunfish, catfish, and bass. But the fish don't have long to live now in low water levels. An emergency fish salvage order lets anglers between the ages of 16 and 65 fish that lake through August 14th without the usual restrictions, like daily limits, length limits, and methods. By the way, in case you're wondering what methods, you can do trapping, gigging, and snagging.
It's trade deadline time, 3 days away. President of Baseball Operations, John Mozeliak on KMOX.
And what that means is if we don't make any decisions with our roster prior to the 5 o'clock Central on July 31st, then there's nothing left we can do. And, obviously we're in a unique situation. We have some talented arms that people are interested in. And I think we owe it to the organization, we owe it to our fan base to at least listen, explore, and see what that might look like. And, those are never fun things to do. You'd like to be on the other end where you're looking to add, but maybe there might be some version of addition by subtraction as we go through this.
Has it been mostly arms? I mean, I never ask about players, as people know. You and I we don't talk about that. It's been the policy, but is it mostly pitching? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, most people going into the trading deadline are focused on arms. And the reason being is because you're trying to make that final push in the last 2 months to play for a third month. And so that's usually where you start to see teams, players hit fatigue moments, and it's just good to replenish. And, my time of being on the buyer side, you're always looking for pitching. That's just the name of the game. Now, when you look at our everyday club, as far as position players, we don't have anybody really on expiring contracts. So there's no real push to try to move one of our position players. It's not to say people aren't calling about them, but I think trading deadline trades for players that have controllable years is much more difficult than the expiring contract model. But, we have 5 days left. We met this morning with my team and we, talked through some things, and we just want to remind ourselves we got a lot of time left in this because, as you know, trading deadline usually comes down to that final hour with lots of things going on. But, if we're able to accomplish something before that, we're not going to let the clock dictate that we wouldn't.
I definitely understand that. I get asked this a lot, so I'll have you answer it so that I can get it right and answer people. They want to know how involved Chaim Bloom is at the deadline. I know that you're the president of baseball operations. Can you describe the collaboration with Chaim when it comes to this?
Yeah, I would just say he's part of the team. The way we have it set up is everybody has a voice in what we do, and he's one of those voices. And, there are some things where if it was dramatically a very black and white issue that's going to affect the future, obviously I would loop him in to a different level than just the voice. But at this point, the collaboration of the group is pretty equally divided. And, it's my responsibility just to manage it.
That's Cardinals president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, on Sports on a Sunday Morning on KMOX. The Cardinals traded Eric Fetty yesterday to the Atlanta Braves after designating him for assignment. They will get either cash considerations or a player to be named from Atlanta. Cards dropped the series, ended up in a split, dropped the game yesterday 9-2 to the Padres. Gas House Gang coming up at 12:05. Lots of trade deadline discussion on that show this week. Noon hour every day on KMOX 104.1 FM, the voice of the Cardinals, right here Don't go anywhere.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today. 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
We started Neoviten because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. Neoviten 50 Plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician-formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neoviten 50 Plus multivitamins a try for yourself. Find them at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neoviten.com.
Community America is stepping up in St. Louis and showing what excellence in banking looks like. Or in other words, they're winning. Opening more branches? Win. Competitive loan rates? Win. Wealth management? Win. Which now makes sense why they asked me, Cardinal shortstop Mason Wynn, to tell you. That's win with 2 N's, not one. It's time to bank like the Mason winner you are. It's time your financial partner was invested in you. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
Get ready, St. Louis. 2 acclaimed performers will headline a summer finale on the Muni stage Thursday, August 28th. International music icon Diana Ross and multi-Grammy award-winning artist John Baptiste. And this is your chance to win a premium VIP experience to see the show. VIP includes a pair of box seats, a pair of VIP pre-party tickets, free drinks at the intermission bar, and a free parking pass. Register now online at KMOX.com/contest for your chance to win.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let's get you caught up at 7:51 on traffic and weather together. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, basically just some slow traffic out there this morning, Debbie. Hasn't been a bad morning at all. Northbound 55, a little more congestion around Bayless-Weber. It's a couple of slow spots from there to Virginia. North 270 approaching Gravois to 44, north of there, up to Manchester, north of there, up to Ladue to slow spots. We have a stall in the right lane, southbound 270, before you get to Dorset. So South 270 is bogged down at Highway 70, and then it's still busy south of 364 down to Ladue after that. Eastbound 70 and 64 out Wentzville way coming in across the bridges look fine, but it's slower on eastbound 64 now, east of Lindbergh to the Interbelt. Of course, it backs up briefly at the Interbelt. By the time you get to Big Bend, you're back on the move. South 170, again, heavier traffic coming down from the Parkway to 64. And on the Illinois side, things still look great. Just some slow traffic downtown westbound 64 from about 3rd Street, headed on across the Poplar. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Roger, it's going to be hot. AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says heat and humidity the next 2 days. We have an extreme heat warning that remains in effect through 7 p.m. Wednesday, actually. Sunny, hot, and humid, high of 97 today. We'll feel like we're over 110 this afternoon. Tonight, a low of 79. It'll be very humid. Tomorrow, same, hot and humid, high 99. Real feels again over 110. Wednesday's high 92. Thursday's high humid, only 81 for the high. And then Friday, less humid, high 81. Really nice weekend coming as we finally get out of this heat. Currently, though, we are in it. It feels like 87 out there. It's humid, 82 degrees downtown at the Arch. Weather sponsored by Chuck's Boots, the Midwest's largest boot stores. Boots for every walk of life. Rugged work boots, stylish fashion, comfortable hiking boots, cowboy classics, uniform boots, and motorcycle gear. Chuck's Boots in Fenton and St. Peters. chucksboots.com.
The Major K Squad is asking for the public's help following the shooting death of a 16-year-old boy from East St. Louis Saturday afternoon. The squad activated after Madison police found the teen in the middle of the intersection at Washington Avenue and Wayne Lanter Avenue. 12 detectives are working that case and pursuing, they say, at least 48 good leads.
Mosquito samples in St. Louis County have tested positive for West Nile virus. There are no confirmed human cases at this time, but you are being urged to protect yourself. Dispose of standing water every week to prevent breeding. Wear long sleeves and long pants while outdoors. Use EPA-registered bug repellent and repair any gaps or holes in your windows and doors, including screens.
What does Attorney General Andrew Bailey think of the controversial hiring by Sheriff Alfred Montgomery?
Before she eventually rejected the position, Bailey called it poor judgment on Sonia Jenkins Gray's part, accepting the chief human resources job to work for the embroiled sheriff.
The sheriff who has clearly broken the law and is still defiant in his opposition to the state safety valve that has been enacted by the people's elected representatives in the General Assembly that gives us the ability to remove a corrupt public official. I think that that shows poor decision making.
Bailey has been trying to remove Sheriff Alfred Montgomery from office in recent weeks, filing a quo warranto and accusing him of hiring his half-brother and improperly benefiting from his office, amongst other allegations. Montgomery has denied doing anything illegal. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
If Missouri Senator Josh Hawley has his way, Americans could see a rebate.
The senator says on X that President Trump appears to support Hawley's proposed legislation.
Thinking about a rebate. That's a very good question. You just made a lot of news. We're thinking about a rebate because we have so much money coming in.
President Trump answering reporters' questions on the potential rebate, but he says the big thing he wants to do is pay down debt. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Fairmount Park Casino and Racing canceling racing for tomorrow. Park officials say safety and well-being of their horses, riders, and guests is a top priority. Temperatures are expected to feel like 110 tomorrow.
From the KMOX archives, an armistice was signed in Korea's demilitarized zone, ending the Korean War after more than 3 years. After the armistice was signed, CBS News correspondent John Rich made this observation.
The ceremony seems to be over here at Panmunjom, and the graceful pagoda covered with straw matting on the sides and roof takes its place in history, along with the Appomattox Courthouse, that railroad car in France, and the deck of the battleship Missouri.
Around 1,000 soldiers from Missouri died fighting in the Korean War from 1950 to 1953. There is a Korean War memorial in Forest Park, a short walk from the Jewel Box.
It is 7:56.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res. Celebrate National Carpet Cleaning Month with Zero Res and purchase 3 rooms of carpet cleaned. Get 1 free room plus $50 off your air duct services. You can book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the savings. So they were just out at my house about a month ago, and they've been out half a dozen times over the years. But I'm always impressed. They are punctual. They are professional. They are compassionate. They are courteous. They work their tails off, and they just flat out get your carpets, your upholstery, your air ducts as clean as the day they brought them in. It's St. Louis. It's the dog days of summer. Those carpets are going to be getting gamey. Maybe you dropped some toasted ravioli in there, some barbecue, whatever it is you put into them, we can get that back out. 314-474-2020 or ZeroResSTL.com. Spell it forward, spell it backwards. It's always the same. Zero Res.
Afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Soccer fans, St. Louis City SC hosts English Premier League giants, the Aston Villa Football Club. Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
7:58, Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we got a vehicle fire. It's on the right shoulder, but the engine compartment's fully engulfed. Northbound 55 south of Richardson doesn't seem to be bothering anybody right now. Northbound 55 is just a little slow. Weber to River to Pear. North 270 north of 44 to Big Bend, Doherty Ferry up to Ladue, still busy. South 270 is a little slow passing Page. Eastbound 64, let's call it Lindbergh, all the way into Big Bend's heavy. South 170 bogs down at the Parkway. Westbound 64 slow at the city limits, and west of 3rd Street across the Poplar as well. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is Monday, July 28th. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
Union workers at Boeing's St. Louis plants are gearing up for a strike after rejecting a new contract. I'm Stuart McMillan with that story.
I'm Tom Ackerman. Do you want to use artificial intelligence to boost your creativity and productivity? This week, we look at ways to get the most out of AI chatbots.
Apps that turn snapshots into nudes are the latest risk for your kids.
Scores of economic data will be released this week. We'll talk to Bloomberg's economics editor about how that could set the tone for the rest of the year.
A Mizzou grad has found a simple way to root out invasive plants using satellites.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Mostly sunny, very hot and humid today with a high of 97.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump says he's ready to get tougher on Russia over the war in Ukraine and a deadline for a ceasefire.
I'm going to reduce that 50 days that I gave him to a lesser number because I think I already know the answer what's going to happen.
He spoke from Scotland this morning.
We thought we had that settled numerous times. And then President Putin goes out and starts launching rockets into some city like Kiev and kills a lot of people in a nursing home or whatever.
The president announced an agreement with the European Union for 15% tariffs on EU goods imported to the U.S. Today, he's hosting British Prime Minister Keir Starmer at his 2 golf clubs in Scotland. Israel says it'll pause fighting in Gaza daily so trucks can deliver food and other aid amid outrage over the hunger crisis. Correspondent Elizabeth Palmer.
Israel, Jordan, and the UAE all parachuted pallets of humanitarian aid into the ruins of Gaza, but just a fraction of what's needed. Even though the military says it will pause the fighting in heavily populated areas during the day now, still there are reports of people being shot trying to get food.
Police in Arkansas are looking for a suspect after a husband and wife were killed while they were hiking at Devil's Den State Park in Washington County. This woman saw the commotion.
We're from Texas, so we came in for the weekend, and we came up here, and there are cop cars all around there, and we're a little concerned, and they said that they couldn't say anything, but that everything was closed for an emergency.
Police say the couple's 2 daughters, aged 7 and 9, were not hurt. Officials say the family had recently moved to Prairie Grove from another state. New manhunts underway in Louisiana after a 30-year-old inmate walked out of jail with permission from the same lockup where 10 prisoners broke out in May. Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Houston.
The error stemmed from a clerical misidentification, where he was confused with another individual sharing a similar last name.
Khalil Bryan has an active warrant for aggravated assault with a weapon and a criminal history related to burglary, assault, and drug violations. One of those 10 men who escaped in May is still missing. An unrelenting heat wave is dragging on.
Tampa hit 100 degrees for the first time in its history.
Meteorologist Craig Allen.
In terms of the population, we are talking about nearly 200 million people under some type of heat alert right through today, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And in fact, this heat could last through the entire week down across the southeast states.
2 hikers in Arizona had to be rescued over the weekend when the temperature there hit 107. Dow futures are up 39. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit progressive.com.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 82 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Monday, July 28th. The news sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Megan Lynch. More than 3,200 union workers at 3 Boeing plants in St. Louis poised to strike after overwhelmingly rejecting a proposed contract.
The International Machinists and Aerospace Workers Union announced the vote against the offer, which included a 20% wage increase over 4 years, improved medical, pension, and overtime benefits. Despite union leaders recommending approval, members felt the offer fell short of addressing their priorities. While the existing contract expired Sunday, a cooling off period delays the strike until August 4th. Boeing is expressing disappointment, calling it their richest contract offer ever for the St. Louis Union. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Missouri Republicans are considering congressional redistricting.
After talks of Texas, California, and New York redistricting to help both sides of the aisle pick up seats, Missouri has been floated as the next state to be redrawn. Congressman Bob Onder says President Donald Trump's margin of victory in Missouri last year is why Missouri should rewrite the map.
I think there's no reason Republicans shouldn't draw a map that reflects that very strong conservative tilt.
Onder previously supported redistricting in 2022 as a member of the Missouri Senate with the goal of splitting Kansas City Congressman Emanuel Cleaver's district. Asked if redistricting should be altered to become less political, Onder pushed back, saying it has always been this way. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Shelter operations for residents who had to evacuate their Ellsbury homes because of flash flooding Saturday night have been kept safe at the United Methodist Church.
The Red Cross's Sharon Watson talked with KMOX about the water receding.
It is in some areas, but there are still some road closures and those types of things. So it's still enough that the community believe they needed to have a site for people to go.
And shelter operations remained active Sunday night at the United Methodist Church in Ellsbury, and the Red Cross remained on site to make sure needs were being met. Lincoln County Emergency Management says beginning today, coordinated damage assessments and cleanup operations will commence throughout the affected areas. This will be a sustained and methodical effort requiring time, patience, and community cooperation. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The Major K Squad is asking for the public's help following the shooting death of a 16-year-old boy from East St. Louis. Madison police found the teenager in the middle of the intersection at Washington Avenue and Wayne Lanter Avenue Saturday afternoon. Police say they do have good leads in the case. Mosquito samples in St. Louis County have now tested positive for West Nile virus. There are no confirmed human cases at this time. Missouri grape growers watching out for a moth-like pest spotted near Chicago that's not believed to have traveled here yet.
Grape growers are nervous about the spotted lanternfly, which also likes to feed on the sap of fruit trees. University of Missouri entomologist Emily Althoff says this multicolored moth-like bug is a bad one.
We're very concerned about it getting here to Missouri.
She says not much is known about the spotted lanternfly other than it got to the U.S. on shipping containers, and it has a taste for about 70 plant species. She says it feeds on sap and creates a sugary substance that coats plants, resulting in mold. Adult spotted lanternflies are about an inch long and are red, yellow, black, and gray. Sue Danielson, MissouriNet.
Need an excuse to fish? The Missouri Department of Conservation is urging anglers to head to Benton Park, where numerous sinkholes are slowly draining the 1-acre lake, which is usually stocked with sunfish, catfish, and bass. But the fish don't have long to live in low water levels. An emergency fish salvage order lets anglers between the ages of 16 and 65 fish the lake through August 14th without usual restrictions like daily limits, length limits, and methods. St. Louis's own Bissinger's Handcrafted Chocolatier reportedly expanding to Florida with plans to open its first luxury boutique in Palm Beach. Set to debut in September 2025, the new store will offer an elevated experience for customers. Bissinger's currently operates 3 locations in the St. Louis area. After splitting a series with the San Diego Padres, the St. Louis Cardinals welcoming in the Miami Marlins to Busch Stadium tonight. The Marlins have won 7 of their last 10 games. The Cardinals have only won 3 of their last 10. First pitch set for 6:45 here on KMOX. We'll check traffic and weather coming up in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
When my wife and I got married after both graduating law school, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Ultima had to give me her gas card just to drive home. We never could have imagined that one day we would have the largest injury firm in the world and $25 billion in money collected and counting. As good Catholics, we had 4 children fast. They all work in the firm today. Our family protecting yours. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. But our greatest gift was years away, grandchildren. Today we have 6 and counting. It's the greatest joy that we have ever experienced. I think about them all day long. Our family promises to protect your family should you need us. Call us. It's easy. Visit forthepeople.com and make sure you hug your grandchildren. God's final gift to us. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan along with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. Doctor, when should somebody typically get a hearing evaluation?
You know, Charlie, the simple answer to that would be at age 65. However, there are some contributing factors that might make people more at risk for hearing loss. Some people with a history of noise exposure or a family history of hearing loss, or those suffering from tinnitus. Those people should come in to have their hearing evaluated at age 60. And of course, anyone noticing difficulty hearing or ringing in the ears should come in as soon as they notice these changes.
That's the word from Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center with 3 convenient locations, Florissant, St. Peter's, and Creve Coeur. Schedule an appointment today by calling 636-441-7470 or the Audiology Center STL.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
8:10, let's check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it has been a pretty good morning, Megan. We just have one trouble spot right now in Jefferson County. The fire's out, but I mentioned at the top of the hour a vehicle fire northbound 55 south of Richardson Road. They do have the right lane blocked, so traffic's just slow for, maybe a quarter mile, something like that, or right in the area there between Imperial and Richardson. But after that, it's clear sailing all the way downtown. Northbound 270 is looking better. Doherty Ferry in spots up through Ladue. After that, it thins out. Southbound looks like you're back on the go. Seeing a little bit of a backup. Looks like we got a problem. Westbound 64 at Spady. There's a jam at Lindbergh. Eastbound 64 east of Lindbergh all the way into Big Bend is heavy. Westbound from the Bellevue area to Hanley still slow. South 170 still bogged down. At Brentwood Boulevard downtown, we've cleared out westbound. No longer any slowdowns coming across the Poplar. And the rest of the area interstates on the Illinois side have been great all morning long for you. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, an extreme heat warning remains in effect through 7 p.m. Wednesday. Mostly sunny today, very hot and humid, the high 97, with AccuWeather real field temperatures over 110 this afternoon. Tonight, mainly clear, uncomfortably warm and sticky, low just 79. Sunshine and some clouds tomorrow. Another very hot, humid day with a high of 99 and real feels again over 110. It'll still be hot and humid on Wednesday with clouds and sun. Also a thunderstorm at the afternoon, the high 92. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have sunny skies now, 84 degrees in Florissant, 83 in St. Peter's, 82 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. You may have a lot of people telling you need to embrace artificial intelligence for your business and creative work. But when you sit down at the computer, you don't seem to get the results you want. Well, this week, KMOX is giving you tips on how to get more from AI chatbots. I'll start with St. Louis native Nordy Cohen, founder and CEO of marketing agency Musylvania, and author of the book Prompting Originality, the AI Handbook for Humans.
I was listening to a podcast and I heard an ad and it said, get rid of your HR department. We'll write all of your letters and you'll never need to pay an HR person again. And I heard that, and then a couple minutes later, it dawned on me, wait a minute, who wrote that ad? Because sooner or later, does everybody get replaced? And I really was concerned as what was going to happen to our creative industry and what would people be able to do for a living if chat was going to do all the work for them. And so I started thinking about it from the standpoint of where does originality start and end? And one of the things that we sort of discovered was that, there's been a lot of sort of all originals come from somewhere. Shakespeare got the idea from somebody else. There's always been people that have had other ideas that people have built on. So basically, the idea that we got to was that all originals are sort of using other people's ideas. So you can build on other ideas, but you don't want to just take exactly what people are doing. And so you could sort of build, and the concept of creation sort of becomes, a much more robust project when you can use AI to help you build it.
How do you start that process and make sure that it is something
original you might be creating, even though you're doing it on the back of AI?
Yeah, so I think ultimately, I think you could, there's a couple of ways of thinking about it, but the easiest way to think about it is don't use it like you're using Siri or Google, and it's not like, hey Siri, set the timer for 20 minutes. I'm cooking a casserole. You don't want to say, hey Siri, write my wedding invitation, and then when you're done with that, write my vows as well. I mean, you could, but it's not going to sound like anything. And the way that I like to think about it is that there's just all kinds of junk floating around out there, and all AI is doing is looking for the most average of everything that's ever been said and done, and they're going to give it to you right down the middle. So if you want to be exactly average, go ahead and ask AI to do everything for you, and you will get an average answer. But if you want to go ahead and create your own ideas, use it to find other ideas. One of the exercises that we did in our book was give me a new ending for Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And AI came back and said something like, well, the wolf was actually running an insurance scam, and he wanted to blow people's houses down so he could get the money. So you start taking ideas like that, and you say, well, okay, well, let me make a story about that. Well, you didn't really use exactly what AI didn't write it for you, but you used it to sort of prompt a new idea. And that's the basis of the book that we did, which is a really simple book. It's fully illustrated. It's designed as a cookbook, and it's called Prompting Originality. And the idea is that you need to be able to use it to build ideas, but not to create ideas on your own.
Should creative people still be doing the bulk of the writing, even if they are using some of these chatbots?
Well, look, there's a value proposition. And the value will be, if everyone can get it for free, then it's worth nothing. So original ideas are still going to be what people need to stand out. And if everyone has the same baseline, everyone's going to be at the same starting point. And so you have to, ultimately you want to stand out if you're going to create value in the world.
You've given us a couple of ideas, but what would you say overall people typically do wrong when they do go to ChatGPT or another tool like this?
Well, what I try not to do is ask for an exact answer. And so I wouldn't say that they do it wrong. What I would say is that you don't use it to its full potential. So let's say you have a legal problem, and you say, I want to know if it's if I should be getting insurance coverage for something, and am I legally covered to do this or that? You could just ask that question, or you could say to chat, I'd like to be able to assemble some experts, and I'd like an expert on insurance law, I'd like an expert on Missouri law, and I'd like a local expert, here in St. Louis that would be able to be proficient at the following. Assemble that team for me. That's going to go away, and it's going to make up 3 fictitious people. And then you say, okay, now I'm going to present the problem, and I'd like to know how each of them would like to respond to this problem, and then give me a group decision. Now you've got an idea, but you didn't say what is the answer, because now you at least know the genesis of what could possibly be supporting that argument, as opposed to just, solve the problem for me.
What if someone goes through a process of trying to use ChatGPT and they're just not happy with the results? They feel like they're not getting to what they really want. How do you tailor your prompts?
Oh, well, I think the best way to think about it, and I saw this because I was delivering some content around the book, and we were doing some exercises, and I saw a guy that was using his prompting. He was using the microphone on his prompting, and he was basically talking to his bot as if it was like someone that worked for him. And he'd be like, I want you to think about it this way, but I kind of want you to think about it that way, but think about it this way too. And it was like as if you were talking to a person, and the bot was responding to it. I was like, well, that's really different, and that's really unique, because at some point you have to realize that it's trying to understand, and it's trying to understand the language model is trying to follow you. So what I would say about if you don't get what you want, I would phrase it differently. I use it all the time, and sometimes I'll be very kind and say, no, that's not really what I want. Try it again this way. Let's think about that way. And sometimes I just don't get anything, and I just go move on and say, well, it's just maybe there just wasn't an original speck of a thought in that to make it worth my while.
Is there anything that you would warn people about when it comes to using AI chatbots?
Yeah, I think you really want to be careful, particularly with visuals, because if you're going to build a visual, understand that it's going to be grabbing public domain visuals. It's going to be grabbing public domain content, and it may be hallucinating. Sometimes it makes up its own ideas. A lot of times when I'm working on other types of projects, even fiction projects, and I'm just looking for a phrase or something, it'll just suddenly go off on its own and make up something. And it's kind of like, that wasn't really what I wanted, but more than that, I don't even know where that came from. So I think you want to use it to sort of spur your thinking, but not do your thinking.
That is St. Louis native Nordy Cohen, founder and CEO of marketing agency Moo Sylvania. His book, Prompting Originality, the AI Handbook for Humans. Coming up on Total Information AM this hour, apps that turn snapshots into nudes are the latest risk for your kids. We'll find out more from media literacy expert Julie Smith. Plus, scores of economic data will be released this week. I'll talk with Bloomberg economics editor Mike McKee about how that could set the tone for the rest of the year. First, though, let's get a check of the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the interstates are looking good, Megan. It's just sort of mid-county where we still have some heavy traffic. This traffic reports a service to the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. If you're on northbound 270, it's still slow. Manchester up to Ladue. Eastbound 64, east of Lindbergh, headed in through to about Big Bend's heavy. South 170 from Brentwood to 64 is busy. Westbound 64, still some slow stuff from about Bellevue through Big Bend, but it bogs down again. Clayton Warson, they're still working with this crash. It's over on the shoulder, but they have the right lane blocked still on westbound 64 just west of Spady, so it's pretty solid from Lindbergh out to that, and then you're home free. But like I said, the rest of these highways right now look great. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast, we are under an extreme heat warning through 7 p.m. Wednesday. Mostly sunny, hot, and humid today, a high of 97, but it could feel like it's over 110 by this afternoon. Right now, sunny skies, 82 downtown at the Arch.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Calling all soccer fans. The Premier League is coming to STL. St. Louis City SC will host English Premier League giants Aston Villa Football Club Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. Wednesday, July 30th at 7:30 p.m. That's stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch, and I'm joined this morning by our media literacy expert and Webster University instructor, Julie Smith. We're going to talk about something that I think is very frightening, especially if you have a young woman in your life. And those are, Julie, these Nudify apps. What are these?
They are apps that use machine learning to generate fake nudes from real photos. So you send these apps a real photo, and then what you get in response is a nude version of that photo that you sent. It's so creepy.
It sounds very dangerous.
It's used primarily by men aged 18 to 40. And the tricky thing, I think what makes it most dangerous, Megan, is there's no barrier to the creation. Like there's no skill, there's no technical skill that's required to make these. And then you can turn around and sell them. And most of the cases, they're used for underage girls.
I read one story where it was a mom and it was her 14-year-old daughter who was targeted. And she said she was bullied over it at her school because of it. Why is there no control over this?
Well, the laws are pretty patchy. Some states have non-consensual deep fake nude laws, right? But a lot of these originate outside of the country. They're usually from an app called Telegram, which is the number one app used in Central Asia. And a lot of the bots are doing this automatically. So it's very difficult. Even if there was legislation, it would be very difficult to enforce because we're really not sure where all of these come from.
So if young women or teenagers had a photo online or someone even walked up to them and snapped a photo, they could do this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's an estimate that came out this morning that the nudifier economy could get $36 billion a year. Most of the images, although what you say is true, you could just take a Snapchat, but most of the images are used from social media platforms. Like they take a picture from Facebook or Instagram or wherever and then send it and nudify it, and then they can turn around and sell it.
Now, is there any way that prosecutors could get involved in this process? I know there are some take it down rules, correct, that have been promulgated.
Right. And there's actually a take it down program that's supported by the Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The name of the app is actually called Take It Down. The only issue is with that is that if you have, for example, if a young person has sent a photo that they regret sending, and it could be nude, but authentically nude, not sent by a nudifier app, they can send the original, if they still have it, to this website, and the website will scrub it from other social media platforms. But that doesn't mean that the photo isn't still on someone's personal device, right? And that's where it gets really tricky.
That is Julie Smith, media literacy expert, joining us this morning on KMOX. Thanks, Julie.
You bet.
We'll see a lot of economic data this week, including jobs numbers and big tech earnings. Coming up, Bloomberg economics editor Mike McKee has more on what that could tell us about the rest of the year.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-581-1414. That's 800-581-1414. 800-581-1414.
Tom Ackerman here. If you are running a business, launching a brand, or leading a team, the nitrous effect might be the creative advantage you didn't know you needed. The nitrous effect. It's not just one agency. It's a collective of creative services that are St. Louis based. Founded by Keith Alper, local entrepreneur, creative visionary. The nitrous effect includes some names you probably already know: the CPG agency, Upbrand, Eventive. These are folks who bring experiences and brands to life for local organizations like Lion's Choice, St. Louis Zoo, BJC Healthcare, Washington University, some admired national brands like Southwest Airlines. Whether it's a national sales meeting, a company rebrand, an employee engagement strategy, maybe a new communications campaign, check them out online at nitruseffect.com or call them directly, 314-615-6583.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowes.com/delivery for more details.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Seems like back to school happens earlier each year.
First day of school coming in hot.
And this year, my kids had massive supply lists.
Folders, notebooks, and pens. Oh, the humanity.
But Staples had everything I needed, with some items just 25 cents.
Watch the small print.
No. My back to school budget was saved by Staples Easy Button.
Everything for school, in stock and as low as 25 cents. Staples.
That was easy.
In store, online, and on the app. In 23 while supplies last.
8:30. Let's get a check of the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the only real trouble spot we have, Megan's cleared now. That's good news. This traffic reports a service of Saks Financial. That was the crash westbound 64 west of Spady. Still a backup approaching Lindbergh, but it thins out as you come through Spady and start picking up the pace. So a few more minutes, it ought to be completely dissipated. Westbound 64 in the Richmond Heights area, by the way, still slow. Big Bend to 170 between Brentwood and 64 heavy, and eastbound 64 from 170 to Big Bend. That's still slow. But like I said, otherwise, these other area highways are light and on the go for you right now. Still seeing delays on 143 to the west of Bender Road, but that's the only other place that's backing up. There are a few slowdowns on the secondaries, but not bad. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We are under an extreme heat warning through 7 p.m. Wednesday. Mostly sunny, hot and humid today, a high 97. It could feel like it's over a 110 by this afternoon. Currently, we have sunny skies, 83 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Hey, it's Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial, retiresafestl.com. Have you ever wondered what it's like to work with a financial advisor? Are you in your 50s or early 60s and really haven't talked to anybody about how you retire? Give me a call today. Check out our website, retiresafestl.com.
This could be a crucial week for our economy for the rest of the year. Bloomberg economics editor Mike McKee joins us now to tell us why. Mike, thanks for joining me this morning.
Good morning. The question is whether it will give us that kind of signal for the rest of the year or just add to the confusion that we've all been going through for months and months. The big issue, of course, or the big event this week is going to be the Fed meeting on Wednesday. They're going to leave rates unchanged, but there's questions about how many dissents we might get. What do they signal about September? That'll be important for the markets. And then what does Jay say? What does the Fed chairman say about what they're going to do about interest rates and what he thinks about President Trump and Trump's criticisms of him? And of course, we'll be watching for any kind of social media post from the president if they don't cut rates and see what he has to say about that.
I understand also we are looking at a lot of big tech earnings that will be reported this week.
A lot of big tech earnings, including Meta, including Amazon and Apple. The question for everybody's earnings, not just tech, but particularly for tech, is what do they say about the future? We know that the current quarter is okay, but or was okay the second quarter. But what are they looking forward to at the end of the year? Do they see a lot more business, or do they see things on hold because they are uncertain about tariffs and the outlook for the economy? And do they see a lot of money coming in from AI in the near future? That'll be very important to investors.
What else will you be watching for, Mike, as an indicator of the resilience of our economy over the next few months?
Well, you have to start with Jobs Day on Friday. Are we still hiring at a reasonable level, or has it continued to slow, and does unemployment start to go up? Those would be things that would worry the Fed. That report comes after their meeting, but they will take it into account for September. Do we have a slowdown going on? And then we have two confidence numbers. Tomorrow, the Conference Board, Friday, University of Michigan. Wants to tell us about consumers and how they might behave in the future.
we got to look backwards at consumer spending on Thursday with income and spending. And then the PCE inflation number, that's the Fed's target number, although we pretty much have a pretty good idea of what that's going to be since it's made up of other indexes. And it does look like inflation rising a little bit, which would be another reason for the Fed to stay on hold for a bit.
Mike, we have to note that there was a resolution to EU trade talks over the weekend. Does that provide some more clarity for the rest of the year for us?
A little bit. If indeed the president is going to tariff them 15%, then importers can base their decisions off of that. What we don't know is what other tariffs would go on that would affect the Europeans, such as pharmaceuticals or semiconductors. The president saying just a few minutes ago, those will be coming in the next couple of weeks. And then the other promises that were made as part of this tariff agreement, just like the one with Japan, EU officials already starting to walk it back. The $600 billion in investments in the U.S., they say will be made by private industry, and they don't control that. So they're kind of hoping that's going to happen. It's not a cut and dried thing. So we get a little bit of information, and we still have a lot of confusion about what happens over time.
That is Bloomberg Economics editor Mike McKee. Mike, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Your money report is next.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
At California Psychics, we know that sometimes you can wake up thinking,
I don't know if I'm in the right career, or the right relationship.
But whatever your life dilemma, at California Psychics, we'll give you the guidance you need to feel certain about your life choices. And because we only connect you with the very best, we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
8:36, time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Kimberly Adams.
Good morning. It's shaping up to be a big day for stocks after the U.S. and European Union agree on a tariff deal. President Trump and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen announced the deal yesterday. The EU will face 15% levies on most of its exports, including automobiles. It also agreed to buy $750 billion in American energy products and invest $600 billion in the U.S. Boeing is preparing for a strike at its St. Louis defense hub. Factory workers rejected a contract offer that would have boosted their wages by 20%. The International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers said that Boeing fell short of addressing priorities and sacrifices of the company's skilled workforce. It was a big opening weekend for The Fantastic Four: First Steps. The superhero film from Marvel Studios was #1 at the movie theater box offices, with ticket sales of $118 million. Stocks advanced in Friday's trading. The major averages posted gains ranging from 0.25% to 0.5%. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ closed at record highs. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It looks like from information today that the St. Louis housing market is bucking the trends that are nationwide, with prices dropping and inventory increasing. Seems to be the opposite. Prices in St. Louis are going up. Inventory is tight. What does that mean for you if you're selling your home? It means that agent selection is important, and that's why you need to call Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, where you get real results. Your home sold, or she'll buy it herself. If you would like an upfront, in-writing guaranteed sale with no stress, you want to make sure that you're selling quickly and for top dollar. Maybe you're selling your home and you're planning to buy another. All great reasons to call Gloria Liu. She sells homes quickly. She closes a home sale just about every other day, unlike other agents who may average 4 or 5 sales a year. Gloria will guarantee in writing to sell your home at 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. Give her a call. Tell her your situation, 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. Classes start August 13th. Apply now and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by SHEV.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today, 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
You've heard of Old Town Donuts, but did you know they were voted the best donut shop in America? That's right, and they've got 2 locations right here in Florissant and Cottleville. Stop by Old Town Donuts today and see why they're the best donuts in the country.
Sunny skies, 83 degrees at 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. An extreme heat warning remains in effect for the region through Wednesday. The U.S. and EU have announced a sweeping trade deal. It raises tariffs on most European goods to 15%. And authorities say they plan to file terrorism and assault with intent to murder charges against a suspect in a weekend knife attack at a Walmart in Michigan. Coming up, one of St. Louis's companies of the future is in the business of taking so-called busy work off of your plate. First, let's get a check of the roads. Roger Brand has more from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they look great, Megan. This traffic reports the service of Metro Transit. Just seeing a little slowdown right now. Westbound 64, 111 toward 25th Street. It picks up the pace before you get there. And 64 around the Interbelt. Eastbound east of McKnight to Big Bend's. Heavy westbound Big Bend to Hanley. Slow in South 170. Just busy. Brentwood down to 64. Minor crash reported. Eastbound 255 east of JB Bridge. Looks like that one's already on the shoulder. A little bit of heavy traffic at a couple of spots coming through Granite City down into Venice there. They're doing paving work that started a couple weeks ago, actually, I think, on Route 3. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
Get a Metro Transit $5 day pass from Metro St. Louis and go anywhere Metro goes, no matter how far or how long, all day long. Super chill, clean, safe, and reliable, not to mention AC and free Wi-Fi. Go to metrostl.org to get your pass today.
And that forecast for today, an extreme heat warning in effect through 7 Wednesday. Sunny, hot, humid today, a high of 97. Clear tonight, uncomfortably warm and humid. We're only going to reach a low of 79 degrees. Right now, sunny skies, 83 downtown at the Arch. You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch, and today Michael Calhoun is spotlighting St. Louis's companies of the future.
All brought together because of Arch Grants, the latest cohort, and we're talking right now with the president of Real Document Solutions, RDS, a St. Louis firm, Denise Williams. Thank you so much for being with us, Denise.
Thank you, Michael. Pleasure to be here.
RDS centralizes order, document, and vendor management. Tell us what that means for the workers who deal in these areas.
Sure. So what RDS does is help title insurance professionals, law firms, paralegals, and others that do public document research or public records research, replace their outdated, fragmented systems so that they're on a smart, centralized platform and they can manage all their documents. Everybody can see everything. And typically we deliver a 60% improvement in productivity over legacy systems, and we reduce rework and accelerate turnaround time. So we get speed, accuracy, and quality for those that are doing work in the public document space.
So maybe give us some examples of, tasks that somebody may have to log into this portal to get this, piece of the pie, and then they have to go to this website and then go into their email to find that. And, what are some different workflows that you've been able to streamline because of this?
Yes. Streamlining workflows is what we do. So, what we often find are people are struggling with the email beast, as I like to call it. They're sending in orders via email, asking for updates via email, sending documents via email. So, what RDS does is centralizes all that so that the documents can be assembled and reported on within the system. Also, within RDS, there's a communication hub. So instead of everybody's been on one of those emails where you're CCing everybody and their brother, right, and their sister. Um, it eliminates all that. So you can go right into the particular order, find out what the status is, and reduce those emails. So it streamlines on the emails, cutting those emails down dramatically. It reduces phone calls. Where are we at with this order? What's happening with it? How can we hand this off? And then the other big streamlining effort is our system enables automated reports to be generated in these specific markets. So for title insurance, for legal document research, corporate compliance. So think about UCCs, liens, taxes. Those all have to be reported in transactional law typically. So our system enables those reports to be generated automatically as well as invoicing.
It's interesting. A lot of these are functions or tasks that need to be accomplished. If somebody wants to start a business, for instance, and you talk about the 60% increase in productivity, I imagine that can bring down the cost of these kinds of services, which can, again, be expensive. And so it seems like this might make it easier for people to start a business or to do something else that requires one of these.
Exactly. We help companies not only strive, but scale. So our market tends to be small and medium firms, and they want to get on a platform such as RDS that can grow with them. And we also do some customizations, but you hit the nail on the head. We help companies that are growing and growth minded and want to be strategically positioned to move forward. And one thing that we do also offer with our system is a very strong ROI, 3 to 6 months. And what I often say to people before you make that next hire, consider a tool like RDS because we can help you go further and perhaps even rebalance some of your workload, get more customers in or do more work for customers. So we are definitely a scaling solution.
And Denise, for you, how did you identify, that this was a problem that needed to be solved and figure out this is the best way to go about it? I'm going to, commit to this and put my life and career into this. Kind of take us on the journey of how this began and got to this point.
It's an interesting journey, as I think most are, because I didn't know this is where I would end up. But it started where there was a company that needed, that I am aware of, that needed to improve a report for the title insurance industry and committed to, this is a little side project to help build that. And once that got built, then that kind of grew from there to be a platform. And it was just a side entity that really wasn't, how should I put it, was not the focus of my career at the time. And it was kind of a side opportunity, side business. I worked in corporate America for decades, Fortune 500 companies and sales and operations and technology. And I decided right around COVID time that, hey, life is short, right? So if you have a dream, and I've always dreamt to be an entrepreneur and run my own business, it's time just to make the switch. So I left a very great career with a large global company in a global position to dedicate myself 100% into RDS. And that was in 22.
Can you talk a little bit more about what it's been like growing a company in St. Louis, especially for those, members of the cohort who may not have heard much about the region or may have, heard about, some of the negative headlines that St. Louis gets nationally sometimes. What has it been like for you living here, working here, and most importantly, building a company here?
Yeah, you're right. There can be some negative press and people do catch on that, but I can say that the community or the entrepreneurial ecosystem is very good here. There are a lot of supporters, and there are a lot of people, Michael, that will tell you, "Hey, give me a call. We'll talk more. I'll help you out," and they do it, right? So I find the community very inviting, very supportive. People have a lot of integrity. They really want to see you grow and succeed. So I think that's wonderful. And as far as living in St. Louis, I'm a little biased because I pretty much grew up here. And I did move around after college to a couple other states and came back, as a lot of people do, kind of that boomerang. And it's been a lovely place to live and have a family and grow my business.
There's the St. Louis endorsement. Denise Williams, the president of Real Document Solutions, one of the members of the newest Arch Grants cohort, with us here on KMOX. Thank you so much, Denise. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it as well.
Coming up on Total Information AM, a researcher at Mizzou has found a way to keep track of invasive pear trees.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or two half geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
When we started NeoVitin back in 2009, we wanted to create a multivitamin that we would take ourselves. That's why we use quality ingredients in our NeoVitin Original Formula multivitamin. With over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our physician-formulated proprietary blend, you can be sure you are getting the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give NeoVitin Original Formula multivitamin a try for yourself. Find it at your local Schnucks, Deerbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
The KMOX City FC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. It's the Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill on Lindbergh, Thursday, August 7th. A limited number of fans can get an autograph or picture with City SC defensive midfielder Jake Gerwood-Wright. Register to win great prizes. Enjoy great food and a cold drink. Hot Shots on Lindbergh, the place to be Thursday, August 7th from 5 till 7 p.m. for the City SC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Thanks for listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Missouri just banned the sale of invasive plants, including the Callery pear tree, sometimes called a Bradford pear. One researcher has developed a way for conservationists to find them if they become a problem. Justin Crone is a PhD student at the University of Missouri.
The idea was to use this PlanetScope satellite imagery, which is a relatively new constellation that takes pictures over a single spot on Earth. Will have a image every single day. So we kind of wanted to utilize that frequency of return and then use that imagery along with some machine learning applications to identify an invasive tree. And we just started with Colombia as a test case to see how well it would work. And so, that's pretty much what we did here. And there's the next step will be to use this information and kind of predict how the tree might spread throughout the landscape along with the city expansion. So as the city expands, how might this tree also expand?
I think for a lot of people, they would kind of have their minds blown that a satellite image could narrow down something as specific as a Callery pear tree.
Yeah, It's not exactly new. I think the coolest thing about this is that since this satellite comes by every day, you're able to capture those unique traits that trees will have. So in this case, we're trying to capture when the trees are in bloom. And so you might have an image one year from, like an aerial image. There's some of those, or Google satellite might have flown by right at the right time. But this way, you're ensured that the satellite will be over there while the trees are in bloom. So for this tree, we're trying to capture that bloom and use that to help distinguish it from the rest of the landscape. For other invasive species, we hope to expand this too. You might use other times of the year, other phenological traits to help identify those species versus the surrounding.
I'm curious about the computing power that this takes.
So another part of this idea was we wanted to do this just so that anyone could run it. So this isn't a deep learning. This isn't a really intensive process. I can run this on my laptop. I don't need any specialized equipment like GPU. So I'm able to just run this. For the training of the model and everything, it takes probably about 15 minutes or so. And then to actually use that model to predict over the landscape, that takes a little bit more time, because now you're predicting every single cell of the image over the course of the landscape. So for Columbia, it took about 45 minutes or so to do that.
So I would guess that this would be fairly low cost then, relatively speaking.
Yes. So the software I use to do this is available for free. Anyone can use it. The imagery is free for research purposes. So I got a permission from PlanetScope to use this imagery for this research. It's not going to be free for everyone, but it is pretty low cost to get a single scene. So a single image, and I use it during 3 different seasons, when it was blooming in the spring, summer, and October. It depends on the area that you want to download, how much it's going to cost, but it's very cost effective to use this imagery.
So I would assume that, like, for as far as applications for how to use this, not just tracking these invasive species, but then being able maybe to go out, and target areas where it was the worst?
Yeah, that's kind of the hope. So, a lot of these trees were planted in the 80s and 90s in residential properties. Obviously, if you're a city manager or something, you're not going to be able to go out and cut down people's trees in their front yard. But if we were to identify a patch of escaped trees that was on some property owned by the city or owned by the Forest Service or MDC or something, they could then go out and treat that patch as needed. For those neighborhoods where there are a lot of trees and residential lots, maybe that's where they target, informational flyers about the MDC buyback program or something like that.
That is Justin Crone with the University of Missouri joining us this morning here on Total Information AM. Coming up tomorrow, we're going to get more advice on how to get better results out of AI platforms like ChatGPT. It's now 8:57.
What is